bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well. Here we go, and here we are. Fade to Black, bespoke radio for the masses. Today is Tuesday, November 8th. We made it. We're getting through this thing, man. 313 days into the new year, just 57 days left. Today is the day. Who is going to be our next president? Full live election coverage tonight. How could we not? And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? Oh, man. Got us a nail biter going on here. I got to tell you. Tonight, Mike Bara is here. He's going to be my co-host for the night. He's going to be here in a couple of minutes. And Andy Basiago is going to be here, and he'll be here at the top of the hour. And we're going to do a full night of election coverage for all of you. This is a bit nutty. I've got all the screens in front of me, and there you go. And so anyway, we'll get to everything in just a second. Tomorrow night, Jim Mars is going to be here for an election wrap-up and what we can expect for the next 4 years. And then Thursday night is another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom. It's open lines all night long this Thursday. And, we will see, maybe we'll open up the phone lines tonight too as well. There is a lot going on. And I'll start to set the stage for everything right now. We do have a crazy, obvious nail-biter that's going on in Florida. We've got, it's funny, the electoral map between Fox and CNN is not the same, right? And it's just interesting how they determine and who they call and so forth. But right now, it's Florida. I'll just say this before I bring Mike in. Trump is amazingly strong, and I'll just say this, with the way things are starting to look and starting to pan out here, I've said it all along. The polls, man, polls are just whack. Polls are just whack, but it's going to be close. It's going to be really, really close, and we have 3 hours of live shows tonight. Now, we will, if we have to, we'll go over tonight. I'm sure Bara will be up to it and fired up and out of his mind. I don't know if we have dinner tied into this one as well. I don't think we do because, I'm not pulling for anybody here. But, he's on that Trump bandwagon, and he must be feeling pretty good about himself right now. Okay, so let's move on really quick so I can get Mike in here. You can email throughout the show tonight, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. All right. Now, they just posted. Okay. They just posted. CNN has got Hillary at 144 electoral votes and Trump at 139. Fox has Hillary at 122 and Trump at 150. Okay, so they're calling other states in advance, which is fine for both sides. They're calling them for both sides. So right now it's 139, 104 on CNN, and this is just crazy, man. 122 to 150 on Fox. Okay, now follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox on Twitter. Any questions or comments during the show tonight? Hashtag F2BQ. Okay? All right. Our sponsors. Who is getting me through this show tonight? Of course, it's Life Change Tea and River Moon Coffee. Life Change Tea. Just go to the banners right now over at Jimmy Church Radio. Click on it. Use the promo code Jimmy. It's going to take you straight to getthetea.com. Go to the specials page. I do drops and I do colostrum every single day. Everybody that I know, everybody that works here and my family and friends, everybody is on the Life Change Tea program. Change yourself. That's what you do. Go to getthetea.com. You're going to get free shipping on your order, either over the phone or online. Just use the promo code Jimmy. Also, our newest sponsor, and I am serious, River Moon Coffee. Oh, my. Right before the show tonight, Rita and I are fighting over the last drop. Hey, you got more than me. Yeah, that's, when I say last drop, I'm talking about you pull the carafe out of the coffee maker before it's done brewing, right? So that first 2 inches of coffee, that's the strong stuff, right? So pouring. I did. I got a shot more than Rita did. They are makers of the Faded Black Blend. It is dark, complex, and smoky. Just use the promo code F2B Blend. You will get 15% off of your order. Also, Studio Dome and their Fade or Not special. Hard shell case packed with a portable stereo Bluetooth system. TWS True Wireless Stereo Technology. 2 SBB2 speakers in a hard shell case. $129. Promo code JCRTWS when you order. Everything is over on our website. Just click on the banner. All the promo codes are there. Okay? And I wanted to mention, Tascam. Tascam is now up on our page. They are there. And if you are into broadcast, if you want to start a podcast, if you are into ghost hunting and the paranormal, Tascam makes all of the gear that you need. Okay? And so there you go. Their banner is there. I talk about their products all the time. I use them in the studio here. And I've got their speakers. I've got their monitors. I have the Tascam S5s. I have the digital interface, the 7000. I have the headphone amplifier, the MH8. And then, of course, I have the DR100 Mark III portable recorders, all here in the studio. I want to thank Tascam for all of that. And when you're over at Tascam.com, up on the right-hand side, you'll see a little tab there that says Artists. Click on that. Click on that. Oh, Rita just tweeted it out. There you go. Because now I'm a Tascam artist. How cool is that? I want to thank Tascam for all of their support. With that, let's get the show cracking so I can get Mike in here. And looking at these updates, Clinton is closing in on Florida, still 95%. 100,000 votes down now in Florida. Wow. Okay. This is turned into an official nail biter. I'm not too sure which way this is going to go. This is a coin toss right now. This is exciting. This is probably the most important day in our country's history ever. It feels great. Change is coming. Change is coming. And but we have 3 hours of this show tonight, and by the end of the show, will the smoke clear? Can we just relax? Will we wake up tomorrow a little bit less tense? I think we will, no matter what happens. All right? Let's get the show cracking. Happy birthday to today, the one and only Leif Garrett. I said it. I did. Leif Garrett today, 55 years old. Jack Osborne, son of Ozzy, today is 31. And on this day in history, and it was a big day, November 8th, 1971, Led Zeppelin releases Led Zeppelin 4. Some would say featuring Stairway to Heaven, but not me. Nah, because on that album you had When the Levee Breaks, Going to California, Black Dog, The Battle of Evermore, Misty, Mountain Hop, Four Sticks, and Rock and Roll. All on the same record. Dude. Dude. Oh, man. On this day in history, 1971. Fate or fact, in 2015, a Chinese woman who was missing for a decade and presumed dead was found living in an internet cafe after playing video games for 10 years. That is a fate or fact. All right, with that, let me see here. Let me bring in Bara. I'm going to do that now. Let's just bring in Bara, Mike Bara, the one and only. And, should I do a full intro of Bara? I mean, should I? Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Should I do a full intro of you? I mean, do I have to?
There might actually be people on the planet somewhere that don't know who I am, but I don't know who they would be. But there might be some people that don't know who I am.
Yeah, and they probably, you're right, and they think you're voting for Clinton. So, yeah, so let's do that. Mike Bara is a New York Times bestselling author, lecturer, TV personality. He began his writing career after spending more than 25 years as an engineering consultant for major aerospace companies, where he was a card-carrying member of the military-industrial complex. In other words, Mike is a shill. He's the man. He works for D.C. right now. He is here to spy on you. So think about that as you're posting on Twitter. A self-described born-again conspiracy theorist, Mike's first book, Dark Mission, The Secret History of NASA, co-authored with RCH, was a New York Times bestseller in 2007. His second, are you still getting paid for that, Mike?
What, a Dark Mission? Oh yeah, I got a check last month.
Yeah, right on.
A very sizable check, which I've used. I haven't used it all yet. But it's a very popular book. It still is.
Yeah, it's a great book.
So I think we sold another 1,000 copies last year. So
man, that's good. Yeah, that's amazing. His
second
book,
and honestly, over 65,000, I think, total.
And what about the Choice? The Choice did good for you too.
The Choice did good. I do still get paid from that one as well, and that's one that it's kind of relevant tonight, Jimmy, because I predicted a lot of political and financial instability in the near future, based on 2012, and I think we might be going through some of that. So. And
tonight Mike is our special correspondent. He's our co-host tonight. He's going to be with us all night long. And he doesn't know it yet, but we're going to do 2 hours of overtime tonight. and you know what? And I'm sure.
We may need it.
I'm sure.
The way it's shaping up, we may need that.
Yes. If it's a nail biter, you will have all the energy in the world to talk smack for an extra 2 hours. I can guarantee you that, everyone. His latest book is Ancient Aliens and Secret Societies. You've got a new book coming out.
No. It's Hidden Agenda, NASA, and the Secret Space Program.
Right. Is that
out? Came out.
It just
came out. Yeah. You can go to the store and get it.
Well, I've been privy to all of the advanced stuff on that over the last, 6 months since you've been writing the book, and I just didn't know that. You and I talk all the time. How come I don't know? Where's my copy?
Well, okay. First of all,
okay, all right.
I do apologize for that.
You just stuttered. Okay, that's good enough for me. Mike is a regular contributor, of course, to the History Channel program Ancient Aliens and America's Book of Secrets, and of course, Aliens on the Moon. And also, he's one of the co-stars with me with our new series that will be premiering here on History Channel very, very, very soon. And Mike, I got to say,
are we allowed to talk about that?
I can, you can't.
I can't.
There's a
right.
difference. There's a difference. You can repeat what I say later.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
That's all I ever do anyway. So.
But I will say this: you look great in the series,
Thanks.
Mike and I did a little thing. Was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago now? No, last week. Man, I can't even remember. But we did some more taping.
Oh yeah. That was about. Was a week and a half ago. That was
week and a half
last
ago.
week, but the week before.
And
right.
I got to tell you, man, this series. I'll just say this directly to you and to the audience: the way that they have shot it, the look, the feel, the camera work. It is very cinematic. It is very, very cool, and I think everybody is just going to be pleasantly surprised because the information that we are presenting in this program, in this series, is top notch, right? That's first and foremost. But it's pretty pleasing on the eyes. It's really got a really nice look to it, so I'm excited.
Given the fact that you and me are on it, that's an impressive thing to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's so much fun, and I just can't wait for everybody to see it. Okay, let's get to this, Mike.
Well, before we do, I'm sorry. Before we do, can I just do a couple of quick shout outs, and then we can I'll give your show back to you.
Okay, Mike.
Can I just acknowledge my girl TC, and I'm just going to call her TC, and she's great. I had a great time with her, and she's a cool girl. And I wanted to also acknowledge Deplorable Emma, who asked me to do a shout out tonight. She's one of the followers on Fade to Black. She's a big fan, so I'm going to acknowledge those two people.
Okay. All right. So
why don't you? Now I'm done. Now we can totally do whatever you want to do.
You know what? I'll just kick that.
Your show.
Why don't you just jump into the chat rooms and just go down the list and go into Twitter, go down the list and open up your email, and I'll see you after the break. How's that?
Okay. You're
all right.
firing me already.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
No, I'm going to let you run with it. All right, Mike.
I'm the Jimmy the Greek Snyder of the the Jimmy Church show.
Oh,
remember Jimmy the Greek?
I miss that guy. And
yes.
He was there's a few guys from that era where the cloth was cut in a singular motion, and he was one. Cosell being another, right? Gifford too as well. But there was a few sports. Harry Carey, right? Jack Brickhouse. These are guys that were just bigger than life. And
and you have to be a certain age to know who the hell Jimmy the Greek Snyder was, right?
Yeah.
So
or Jack Brickhouse,
kind of
right?
That,
Yeah, totally. Okay, so you must be feeling pretty good about what is going on at this point, right? So versus how you were feeling. Look, I don't care about tweets, and I don't care about your postings and Facebook and everything else that you've been doing up until today. No matter what, it's a nail biter on either side of the fence. So coming into today, you felt one way, but I'm sure you feel a lot better now than you did a couple of hours ago.
Well, you never know what's going to happen in these things. I mean, elections are funny things, and you just don't know what to believe. It turned. What we can definitely say tonight is that the polls were completely wrong, and we should never trust these news polls again, because what they've been telling us all along is that this thing was going to be very one-sided. It was going to be over, very quickly. There were some people from Real Clear Politics that were tweeting out that it was going to be a very short night and all this stuff. And it's not turning out that way. I think it's going to be a nail biter, and it's going to go well into the evening, even here on the West Coast. So, do I feel better? I kind of do, but there's no decisive victor yet. I can tell you that they're crying at the Hillary victory party. There's pictures of girls crying. And the New York Times is saying Trump is 73% to win the White House as of right now. But that all changes if certain states don't fall the way we expect them to. And so far, it's pretty much up in the air. So, do I feel better? Yeah, I mean, I have a horse in this race, and I'd prefer to see him as president rather than Hillary. But
Well,
Wow,
right.
I just think we're going to be in for something pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I saw
Oh.
something pretty interesting right before the show, and
Actually,
well, just let me say
can
this
I
really
interrupt
quick.
you one more time? I
No,
just got a Baracorp News bulletin.
oh man, come
my,
on,
from,
come on.
from my reporter Dave Bara. Now the New York Times is saying it's 80%.
Yeah. Okay.
But okay.
All right.
He's giving me updates as we speak. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but he's
So,
also
I promise
drinking
I will not
during.
shut up.
He's also drinking during these updates. But let me
Oh,
say
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Let me say this. Right before the broadcast, I watched a prediction. Just if everything stayed as it was, Trump won Florida, right? Right. And everything ran the table just like it's supposed to. Hillary is sitting at 269, and Trump is at 245. So it's and that's with him taking Florida. So that right there to me, if you're a Clinton supporter, that freaks you out. That freaks you out because anything can swing in any direction. And if she's sitting at 269 as it sits right now, one thing, just one little thing clicks in any other direction, these numbers start to swing really, really fast. So,
well, 269 is a mathematical possibility with the way the states are falling and with the way the returns are coming in. And if that happens, of course, then the House of Representatives decides the next president, and that's controlled by the Republicans. And I can promise you two things. If the House of Representatives votes on the president, it's not going to be Donald Trump, and it's not going to be Hillary Clinton. So then who is it? I hear that this is prearranged, and it's going to be Paul. Who's the Speaker of the
Paul
House?
Ryan.
Paul Ryan. That he is the pre-selected chosen boy to further the corporate agenda of corporate America. That's what I hear. But we shall see.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, well, it would be amazing. It would also be really bad for the entire country. So,
wow.
Who knows?
Wow.
That's possible. It's very possible the way we sit right now. So
now, when it comes to the rigging of the votes or whatever, voter fraud, and you and I were talking about this before the show, and we are definitely on opposite sides of the fence here. But when it comes to voter fraud or rigging or whatever you want to call it at whatever level, whether it's voting machines, registration, dead people, I don't care, right? It's just let's just put it all in one basket, right?
Yeah, the zombie vote. I do predict Hillary will win 99% of the zombie vote.
Okay, so let's say that if you have something like Florida, which is obviously neck and neck right now, and it's very important, and it's 29 electoral.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk.
It's a huge chunk. Is there voter fraud when it's close, or is there voter fraud when it's a big victory?
Well, there's voter fraud in every election.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. You understand the question. Do you call voter fraud if you've lost by a large amount, right? Or do you call it when it's too close and you've lost? I mean, where does it come into play where you want to cry foul?
For me, it's more complicated than that. I hate to give you a gray area answer, but here's what happens in these predominantly blue states where you have this established Democratic Party machine. And I hate to use that term, but it's a term that's been used over the years. When you see the big cities, the big inner cities, which are very, very heavily Democratic, when you see that they are not reporting their results and they are holding back results, that's when I begin to cry shenanigans. Because the fact is that the big cities like Miami and Broward County and in Detroit, the Detroit area, and especially now we have to watch Pennsylvania and the Philadelphia area, they should be reporting first because they have the most poll workers, they have the highest budgets, and the rural districts take a lot longer to report their results. And what that tells me is that what they're doing, and this has been done in Pennsylvania a few times over the years, where for some reason, these big inner city heavily Democratic districts in Philadelphia don't report until all of the red precincts, all the red counties report in, and then miraculously they report in with enough votes to put the Democratic candidate over the top. And that to me is when I say I'm calling shenanigans. seconds because the big cities should have their results in first. It should be almost instantaneous.
Now, Virginia was so close. Hillary jumped in at the very, very end, right? It was 98% or whatever. And then she jumped into a 2,000 vote lead. And all of a sudden, this is about 8 minutes ago, Fox jumped out and gave it to Hillary very, very quickly when I thought that there was still votes on the table. I mean, a couple of thousand votes seemed to me to be too close to give up a state that quickly. And they did their projection. CNN held off on that for about 5 minutes. Why do you think that is? And I think that's too close to call.
Well, remember, the purpose of what the TV news networks want is they want you to keep watching, right? So there was a lot of states, I think, early on that everybody knew, for instance, Trump was going to win, like Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, but those weren't called until way after the polls had closed. And they also held off on a lot of blue states. I mean, everybody knew that Hillary was going to win New York, and New York wasn't called until about 2.5, 3 hours in to this whole process. So it's one of these things where they're basically trying to keep the viewers pinned to their TV sets because that's where they make money, obviously. And the other thing is, in a case like Virginia, it was a very tight state. It really was supposed to be a big state for Hillary. I don't get the feeling that anything funky happened in Virginia. The districts, the counties that were late reporting in Virginia were primarily Democratic districts, and everybody was saying, Trump did really well upstate and in the more rural areas, but his lead's going to narrow, and Hillary could still pull it out. And it didn't seem abnormal. So to me, that's a state where I don't necessarily think anything really weird went on. It was a real long shot for Trump to win Virginia, and he didn't win it.
Right. And right now, this is something else that's pretty interesting as we're heading into the break. The popular vote, which Trump was, way ahead. By a large margin. Has now it's pretty much even. Okay, it's pretty even. I'm looking at it now. It's 4,438,000 Clinton, 4,573,000 for Trump. So as more numbers come in, it is starting to even out.
And I expect it to be really close in the popular vote because you've got these big population centers like L.A. and New York that are going to go heavily for Hillary Clinton.
Okay,
so, we could even have a situation like 2000.
Okay, as we head it. Okay, Mike, I got to jump in. We're taking a break, but CNN is now projecting Ohio to Trump.
And New York Times is predicting that Trump is 65% likely to win Michigan, and Hillary wins Colorado.
Okay. So, Hillary does have Colorado. Okay, let's take a break right here. Special election night coverage right here on Fade to Black. Mike Bara coming up in a half hour. Top of the hour, Andy Basiago will be here. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Crazy night ahead, no doubt. Our guest tonight, Mike Bara. Andy Basiago is going to be here at the top of the hour. And, Mike, it's feeling so tied right now. What do you think?
Well, I do have a couple updates.
What do you got? What do you got?
Okay, New York Times is now projecting Trump 61% to win Wisconsin, which is shocking. I think I told you 65% to win Michigan, which is also shocking, and 86% now to win the presidency. Now, this can change if states flip-flop. So this is just where it stands as of the moment. It's not really it's not anything like when they call a state. It's pretty much in stone. Also, nobody's called Florida yet, even though Trump is up by about 143,000 votes, and it looks like all the votes are in. So,
well, we
don't know. I mean, if
they're at 95%, and the thing is with Florida that for me, and again, it just may come down to Florida, but if this. It seems to be the southern, Broward County, Miami-Dade, down there. There's enough votes left over down there because they've been sitting at, I'm looking at it right here, right? It's 4.4 to 4.5, about 100,000 votes. But it hasn't nudged, right? They haven't had any votes come in 25 minutes. Florida is sitting right there at 95%. So that other 5% is there 200,000 votes sitting there? Look at
the interesting thing is because in Broward County, I think there was a gap of about they had reported 615,000 out of 800 and some odd. Anyway, there was about 120,000 vote gap over what Broward said that they had actually had votes cast versus what they had reported. So what they have reported, even if it was 100% Hillary, doesn't appear to be enough to put her over the top. But there may be still some extra counting going on in small.
Well, you have to look at it.
Counties.
You have to look at it like this. This is why I think it's very interesting. We have 9 million votes cast in Florida, 5% out. That's 500,000 votes still to come in. Okay, so you have to look at it like that. That's a lot. That's a big chunk of numbers. So it's the ratio. Florida is really turning out to be pretty important here. Now, when you look at,
that never happens in presidential races.
Yeah, right.
It?
Florida once again, right? And I'm looking at the Fox map here, and with Iowa and Pennsylvania right now that are out, that's 26 votes right there, and Hillary is at 138, and they have Trump at 168 as it stands right now.
Right.
So those two coming in. Now we're almost at a virtual tie without Florida, right? And then we still have Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota outstanding. And then when you have California, Oregon, and Washington sitting out there with another. What am I looking at here? 72 electoral votes there.
55, 67, and 7 is 72.
Yeah, 72.
But Hillary's going to take those 3 states.
And she's going to take those 3. So that would, just as it sits right now, that's 230. That's 200. That's 204. About 240. If it just sits right there with Pennsylvania, the western states, and Iowa. Man, this is close, man. This is close.
It's really actually kind of exciting, man. It's
the
most fun we've had since probably 2000, when nobody knew what was going to happen, and a lot of stuff did happen. So this is really close. It's really exciting, and it's just, the stakes are high, I think, and everybody is on edge. Of course, it's possible that they know, some of these guys at the networks know who's going to win a state, or based on exit polls and so forth. But again, they're just holding the information out because they want to keep people watching their news shows.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me ask you this, Mike. No matter who, you're a Trump supporter, but if Clinton wins the election, do you, as an American, support Hillary and the United States for the next 4 years?
No. She needs to be in prison.
Okay.
She is.
But
no, I can't support her. Look, Barack Obama won fair and square in 2008, probably in 2012, and I don't like him. I don't like his policies, but he was freely elected, and but this person, it just. I think the Democrats made a huge mistake in nominating her, because I think that a more reasoned candidate might have, without as much baggage as the Clintons have, probably could have won this race. So, I don't know. We don't know yet who's going to win. But no, Jimmy, I can't say that. I think she needs to be behind bars, because, all you have to do is look at the stuff in WikiLeaks.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on all of that, but that's not the question. And if she is president, she's not going to be prosecuted. So what I'm saying is,
not if she controls the Department of Justice and the FBI the way they're controlled now. That's definitely.
But my question is, if the American people have spoken and we move on tomorrow, do you support Hillary?
No. And I think that if that happens, that we're headed for civil war.
Man,
literally guns in the streets. Now, just to be fair, if Trump wins, there's going to be a lot of crap going down in the streets too. The LA police are on riot alert if Trump wins. There's going to be some trouble. There's going to be disunity no matter what. I just got a bulletin from my Trepid reporter, Dave Bara, that New York Times now says it's 62% likely that Trump will actually win Pennsylvania. If he wins Pennsylvania, it's pretty much really over at that point. But
how?
But no, I can't support her because I think she's a criminal. And the more you read what's in WikiLeaks, Jimmy, they've done so many terrible things, and not just to stuff their own pockets, but things that have damaged our country.
Right.
I would rather be ruled by Putin than Hillary. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, that's I can understand that.
Do I support her? Do I think would I be would I support anybody doing something violent against her? No, of course not. I can't say that. But politically, as an American, I can't get behind her. No, I just can't. I think she needs to not be in the White House. And that's kind of why I adopted Trump, because.
But let me ask you this, and I will always be objective. I will always play both sides of the fence. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
Trump has not had the WikiLeaks leaks, right? He hasn't been hacked. He hasn't had his stuff put out there publicly. And so that is the one thing that has been out there to sway public opinion, including we all know Hillary's, it's got enough dead bodies behind her, stacked up to her neck. I'm not in any way saying that she's squeaky clean. I'm not even suggesting that. We know that she's not. But Trump has enjoyed that side of the fence. So he's always been able to go back to, WikiLeaks, and but because his stuff isn't out there on WikiLeaks. And so I would be able to, or anybody else would go, well, yeah, but Trump has got the stuff on WikiLeaks too. And it says that he was killing puppies his entire life, right? And he enjoys killing puppies and eating kitten stew.
Well, and if that was the case, I would not have voted for him.
But do you understand what I'm saying? So that and what I find really, really, really bizarro is you have the slanted media bias out there for Hillary. It's obvious and it's apparent, right? That Donald makes himself an easy target for late night television, for all the newscasters. If I was
just a little bit, do you think maybe he does just a little bit? Yeah.
So, but then you have this whole WikiLeaks issue that certainly the media does not have a problem with reporting on with Hillary. It's a daily thing, man. The FBI and everything else has been a daily thing. So I see it on both sides. It's a bizarre thing to kick back and witness. Okay.
First of all, just quickly, a couple of updates. Apparently, New York Times has now called Florida for Trump and also North Carolina for Trump. So those are two new reports. And also, Jimmy, the answer to that is that, Julian Assange was interviewed recently, and I think it came out just today, and he said the reason we don't report emails and things on Trump is that we don't have anything. And he said, it doesn't mean that Trump gets a clean bill of health or anything like that, or that he's a great, wonderful guy, but there just isn't any leaks. And what's interesting is that the reason WikiLeaks exists and all this stuff is out there is because so many people on the inside have been leaking stuff about Hillary. That's why there's all this stuff out there about Hillary, because somebody really badly did not want her to be president. So that's what's going on there. Now, is that a perfectly viable explanation? No, but it seems. I think it's a big part of the reason why that.
Check this out. John just tweeted out. He goes, "Jimmy thinks just because Hillary does it, Trump does it. Smug, arrogant, and condescending." What?
No. Wait a minute. I'm the smug, arrogant, condescending guy. Jimmy, come on. That's not you. Whoever wrote that. That's not fair.
It's not even correct.
No, but you do take that attitude. But like you said, you have this. Our humble correspondent to take both sides. And
no, I'm not taking both sides.
Question: why isn't there any leaks on Trump? I mean, there have been some things, but not really much. I was surprised that Hillary didn't fire any last blasts really. This last weekend, I was thinking Friday, Saturday, there was something that was going to come out about Trump that we hadn't heard before, but nothing, no shots were fired.
Yeah, so. and my point is, and I've said this all along, Hillary has been in politics for so long that she is obviously dark and corrupted and without moral. That's an obvious thing. But you don't get to be a billionaire without stepping on backs. And that's the corruptedness and the foulness that you have to be a billionaire is what Trump is about. And,
Jimmy, just to comment on that, I agree with you to a great extent. Because what there's a guy named Robert Kraft who owns the New England Patriots, right? And I've seen him in various interviews and at various times, and I'm like, this guy's a billionaire. I think he's a 2 or 3 multi-billionaire, and he's an idiot. He can barely put 2 sentences together. I mean, he's a complete moron. And I'm like, how evidently intelligence is not required to become a billionaire. It seems to me that luck and ruthlessness probably play more of a role in that. Although I don't think Trump's particularly lucky. He is a smart guy and he's a ruthless guy. To get himself to this point, I mean, regardless of how tonight turns out and whether he wins the presidency or not, the fact that he's even gotten this close is amazing, looking at all the forces that were stacked against him. And I just think the way he's played the media against him, the media has attacked him, but then he's turned it around on him. I think ruthlessness and cleverness is really, really important. And this is a guy who clearly has, a lot of both. You don't get to be this close to the presidency without having some ruthlessness. I agree with you. So
yeah, you're right. I agree with you. If he makes it, we will have a complete idiot in the Oval Office, a lucky idiot. I totally agree with you. I'll support him.
I don't know that he's an idiot. I think he's pretty smart. But the question is, will he govern in some sort of smart way? In a smart way. That I don't know. And will he do the things he says he's going to do? That I do not know.
I'll support him, but I will support whoever gets elected. I'm an American. I will move on.
You're a bigger man than me, Jimmy.
No, it's just
Mike.
You
are. You're better than me. You're a better person. That's why you're more successful.
We have 2 Nimrods running for office. Okay, I don't want either of them in there, but I'll support what the American public wants. But let me say this: for all of the Illuminati cabal theorists, of which you are one, and so am I, and that Hillary is a member of the cabal and the Illuminati, and she's part of the inside. And if she doesn't make it to the Oval Office, does that disconnect her from the Illuminati, or and the cabal and the puppet masters, or and the Bilderbergs, or they weren't strong enough to pull it off? And what does that say for all of those conspiracy theorists out there that say that she's a member of the Bilderbergs and a card-carrying member of the Illuminati? I mean, everybody out there that has been yelling about this is going to have to take a step back because they're going to look a bit foolish. It would be easier to say that she was in the Illuminati if she makes it to the White House, but if she doesn't,
and especially if there was some serious shenanigans that appeared around it, like something like what happened in Florida in 2000, then you could make that argument.
Yeah, and so back to my point, that kills all of that out there. Kills it, right?
Well, except that let's just assume that things continue to go the way they're going and Donald Trump is elected president. I can't believe I'm saying that Donald Trump is elected president of the United States. Let's assume that happens. You have to remember that the globalists and the major bankers that are behind, Hillary and the global cabal, they are long-range thinkers. They have worked long and hard to get to this point where, the internet is no longer controlled by the United States, which means we can now suppress free speech from abroad. The attacks on the Second Amendment. These things have been very incremental. And even if Trump wins, this does not significantly change things. It's just one battle in a war against this, coming global, let's call it the New World Order that these guys are trying to impose, that I think everybody who listens to Fade to Black should oppose. And it's really just a battle. It's not the war. It's not like the war is over if Trump wins. So I don't really agree with you on that. They can spend the next 4 years just tearing Trump down and trying to block everything he does. And believe me, there's a lot of Republicans in the House and the Senate who are going to go right along with that. So
yeah, you're right about that.
Are these Republicans going to put their country ahead of their own, of their connections that they have? I really don't know. I think that's an open question, and I think it's going to lead to a lot of volatility if Trump, in fact, does win the White House.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you what I have been talking about all year, and I will not change my stance on this. Trump is so connected to the Rothschilds, to the Fed, to the big money, because he is a multi-billionaire. and he is part of the elitists. And he may not be a politician, right, and may have never run for office, but he is from the percentile that you and I know nothing about and will probably know nothing about ever in our lives. Mm-hmm. And if he makes it to the White House,
it's above our pay grade.
then there you go. And the Illuminati has got their man. And I have said this from the beginning, that is what is influencing both sides of the fence in this race. That they have assured themselves, the White House with either Clinton or Trump. And here we are today with the craziest race ever with the two doofuses. And why? Because there is somebody that wants this to happen. It's not Trump's skills. It's not anything else. They got their boy, if he makes it, in the White House. If she makes it, they've got their girl in the White House. And I've said that from the word go, and now this is the way that it's playing out. And before I sit back and say, I told you so, not to you, but and to the audience, I'm not going to do that. But I had said this a year ago. This is how this is going to play out. It's a win-win. It's a win-win for them.
You would like them to think that was the case, but I mean, the fact
it is the case.
Trump claims he is not leveraged, that he does not have any significant debt.
Of
course. That he has no ties to his bankers. And then look at a couple of other things that are going on right now. The stock markets, the overnight futures trading are collapsing right now because of this. So they don't think on Wall Street that this is a good thing that Trump is winning the White House because they own Hillary. Now, it's possible that they really don't own Trump. It's really possible, and this is one of the reasons why I came to support him. It's really possible he's not owned by these people. Also, the other thing is the peso is now collapsing, which indicates people think Trump's going to win. And, all I can say is the people who shorted the peso for tomorrow were really smart because they're going to make a ton of money. But, these things are indicators that this was not necessarily foreseen by the powers that be. And in my book, The Choice, which I hate to keep promoting and talking about, but I did talk about how the fact is that the powers that be, that the ground would shift underneath them, the structural ground, our form of government, our financial structures would shift and rattle and roll, and that the powers that be would respond to it in the same old ways that they always had, but that this time around that stuff wouldn't work. And I think what we saw in the Brexit vote and what we're seeing here are examples of that. And so I think it's a possibility. There's a possibility that Trump is not owned by these people, and Hillary certainly was, and Paul Ryan was, and Jeb Bush was. You know what I'm saying? Any of the other candidates, Ted Cruz, give me a break, Grandpa from the Munsters. These people were all owned by Wall Street and the big bankers and the Rothschilds. Trump, I don't know. I mean, if you got proof that Trump is in bed with the Rothschilds, I'll look at it.
It's called bank accounts. It's called bank accounts.
Yeah, but that's your logical thinking camp.
They always follow the money, Mike. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I know. But what if Trump really isn't leveraged and they really don't have much power over him? And then another thing to think about too is that let's assume this keeps going the way it's going and Trump does win it. The people that are unhappy about that, keep in mind there was one really great post I saw from one of my conspirators. I think it was Alex Jones. He said that they will kill Trump before they let him take control. So there's a chance that his plane will get shot down before he ever gets to Inauguration Day. So keep that in mind.
The only issue that I have with Alex Jones is he had a really good run for the last 10 years. Had a pretty good run of saying things that happened to either play out or come close to playing out. But the last year, he's been striking out. He has been king whiff, and especially this last month or two as well, and both of the conventions too.
Right. And
he's been striking
again,
out.
like I said too, I've been hearing for months from some of my inside sources that one of the two candidates was going to drop out before the election. That never happened. We did get to Election Day, and or that neither one of them would ever be president. That something would happen. Now, we still have the 269 possibility, so maybe that will still play out, but we don't know as of right now.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. It's been a crazy enough year, but when it comes to I'll just say it straight out. Alex Jones, especially the last couple of weeks, the videos and the shows have been getting more and more out of control, more and more outlandish, and he's been absolutely 100% wrong. And there you go. But he had a good run. I love Alex Jones. I love Alex
it's interesting.
Jones.
People that predict the future, Jimmy, it seems like that they're pretty good at predicting the near-term stuff, but then everybody I've ever trusted in that department, like the farther you get away from the prediction, the less likely it seems that it happens. So you know how that works? Because part of it is just simply that people make individual choices and things shift, right?
Yeah. Well, at least a year ago when I just saw this thing and I just looked at everybody that was running and started throwing their hats in, and I just went with the craziest, most ridiculous possibility, right? Well, that possibility is today, and here we go. And let's just see. I will say this: the media has done a stellar, fine, perfect job of inflaming the country, of dividing everybody up, of reporting outlandish things, and got us really, really, really our heads on a swivel. We don't know if things are coming or going now, and they've done a really, really just a stellar, perfect job of screwing things up. And now that things are so inflamed, that's why I've asked everybody, all of the Fadernauts, and whatever is the outcome of this election, accept it, and let's get this friggin' country united, because the media has done a really good job of almost anarchy in the streets, and we don't need. We don't need that. We don't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We don't. I think some of that's going to happen no matter who wins. But one thing, Jimmy, one thing that's I think kind of, I don't know, a little bit overlooked that we really haven't talked about is that, to me, the news media has lost. The mainstream media, including Fox News, who is simply the moderately conservative version of the mainstream media, they have all been thoroughly discredited by this process. They have been so in the tank for Hillary, and it's like nobody believes them anymore. And the fact is that the internet is where all the journalism took place. I mean, WikiLeaks and different people on the internet that have put stuff out have had a greater impact, a journalistic impact. And so really we are in a situation where the so-called fourth estate needs to be completely reformed. And these giant, these corporations that own, 5 or 6 corporations that own all the major media outlets, they need to be broken up. There needs to be some antitrust stuff brought in. Even they've all been very one-sided, but they've been totally discredited because basically everything they've been telling us for months and months is turning out to be false. And it's really, they're the ones who I think look really, really bad tonight.
I've got to jump in and take a break right there. Our guest tonight, co-host Mike Bara. When I come back after this break, we'll be joined with the one and only Andy Basiago. This is Fade to Black. This is election night, full night of coverage. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
Angioprim can unclog blocked arteries and improve blood flow in all parts of your body. Angioprim is oral chelation. Easy, simple, liquid oral chelation. You take it with juice before breakfast and forget about it. Angioprim works fast, unlike old-fashioned chelation that takes hours. Just log on to angioprim.com. That's Angioprim, ANGIOPRIM, angioprim.com. Angioprim users say they have more energy, more strength, more endurance. Increased circulation and blood flow will make all your body parts work better. Log on to angioprim.com AngioPrim.com to get more information on how you can get started and start feeling better, having fun, and doing more again. Lots more. Talk to a trained AngioPrim consultant. Call AngioPrim toll-free at 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221. Or log on for complete information. AngioPrim.com. That's AngioPrim.com. Find out how AngioPrim can work for you. Get the facts about AngioPrim at AngioPrim.com.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're of the Honey Brothers. Well, yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. Tonight's election night, full coverage all night long. Got some updates. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, bringing in Andrew Basiago. And Andy is a lawyer from Washington State, and he's also a prominent figure in the truth movement, running for president of the United States. And Andy helped America achieve time travel as one of its first chrononauts in Project Pegasus and was one of America's early Mars explorers. His candidacy for president is a bold and independent call for truth, reform, and innovation. And I would like to welcome Andy to the program. Andy, are you there?
I'm here, Jimmy.
Okay. Andy, welcome, man. It's good to hear your voice. Mike Bara is here, too, as well. Andy, say hi to Mike.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, how you doing, Andy?
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. Very exciting night. A night of true American history unfolding here.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I've got these updates really quick. Both Fox and CNN have given, as expected, California and Washington to Hillary, but the current tallies now are 202 for Hillary and 216 for Trump. That's according to Fox. But CNN, again, is being conservative in their calls here. Now, apparently, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, Fox will not call Florida. They've blocked out the state. It was not there, and now it's too close to call, and they are not going to call Florida in the time being. And I find that very, very interesting. California and Hawaii have been giving to Trump, and I've been given to Hillary, and Trump has been given Idaho. So, and that is also in line with the Fox map here. But Florida has not budged; it's still sitting at 95%, and for some reason, Fox has taken it off the map. I find that. What do you think is going on there, guys?
I think that.
Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
Go ahead, Andy.
No, I'm saying that. I mean, if we assume arguendo and just stipulate that Trump takes Florida, then what we're seeing unfolding is basically what the filmmaker Michael Moore predicted, which is that Trump's message about the deindustrialization of the country, his message on immigration, jobs, and on trade, reached the essentially economically dispossessed residents of the upper Midwest. And if you look at the maps that all of the stations are carrying, it looks like he's at least taking Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio. And as the saying goes in American presidential politics, as goes Ohio, so goes the nation.
Right.
So I'm willing to call this as not a Trump landslide, because it may come down to one state like Wisconsin, but I think it's a decisive Trump victory that I'm willing to call, because even the votes that we can allocate to Johnson, which are about 2 or 3 times more robust than Nader took from Gore, are still not causing Trump to fall behind, which means that he's clearly in the saddle here, and I think he's riding to victory in this election.
Rita just ran in the studio and said that a few other news outlets out there are giving Florida to Trump. So,
yeah, but and also, Jimmy, I just noticed that Fox apparently called it 5 minutes ago, but if what you're saying is right, they may have pulled that back. They have a pretty good decision desk at Fox. I mean, they have Pat Caddell, who was Jimmy Carter's pollster. Karl Rove I wouldn't put in that category, but they have some smart people there. Michael Barone and Pat Caddell are two people I really admire a lot. Caddell's a Democrat, and so if they've pulled it back, they got a reason for pulling it back.
Look, I'm just looking at their map here, right? And if you pull up the Fox map, Florida is dark red. Okay, it's not light red like the other states that they have called. And there you go. I don't, but Rita, CNN still hasn't called it, and the numbers are still the same. It's still showing 95%, 49.1 for Trump and 47.7 for Hillary. So
yeah, it's extremely close. I mean, it's crazy how close it is.
Oh man, it's nuts. And I want to go back to your point that you were making there, Andy, and I found that very interesting about addressing, the lower income. And I think did you use the word disenfranchised?
I think I said economically dispossessed, but
yeah, right.
I was convinced that Trump was going to win because, look, his approach was entirely different from Clinton's. Trump has basically been saying, if you elect me president, this is what I will do for you. Clinton has been saying, make me your president because this is what I want to achieve, which is much more of a sort of a Wilsonian idealistic approach to the electorate. Even though Trump has been messy, in fact, has made critical mistakes in his presentation of himself. I think the most egregious being mocking the disabled reporter from the New York Times. The bottom line is he's still been able to communicate to the electorate that he's on their side. And the people that have been suffering the most as a result of presidential inaction regarding the deindustrialization of the country are the people living in the former industrial center, the industrial heartland of the country. And look what Trump has done. As a conservative businessman and essentially a business tycoon, he has taken 3 of the 4 most deindustrialized states that were formerly the locus of the economic power of the country, of the net productive potential of the country. And this is unprecedented, and I think that we're really looking at an important turning point here in American history because I'm predicting that Trump is going to win. And what we're going to see is something we haven't seen since Theodore Roosevelt, which is a reformist Republican president.
Yeah, and North Carolina just went to Trump, according to CNN. I'm just looking in Twitter. AP is showing Clinton at 190, Trump at 201. Fox is showing 202 for Clinton and 222 for Trump. And CNN is showing 190 for Clinton and 186 for Trump. Right, so we have 3 different projections going on in real time with 3 different sets of numbers.
Yeah, it's really pretty crazy that we have this much variation, and because usually the networks are kind of in lockstep, so that's definitely something that's was not expected. But I guess I agree with Andy a lot. I think that if Trump ends up winning this, it's going to be because of his power in the old-fashioned Rust Belt. Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, the manufacturing centers of the United States are going to be a big deal to him. It looks like Hillary's probably going to hang on to Pennsylvania, but we don't know yet. So, I mean, I really think that he did make a direct appeal. I agree with Andrew that was really critical to him winning. It wasn't just that you can't trust Hillary or Hillary's bad or whatever he said. It was that he said, look, these trade deals are crazy and they've been killing our country and killing our manufacturing base. And I think that may end up being the decisive pincer movement in this election.
Yeah, if Pennsylvania holds like it is now, according to the Fox map, that would have them. That would put them in a dead tie, 222-222. Oh my goodness!
Please no. Can't we do that once every 2 decades? We don't have to do it twice.
Man. Yeah, IDP just tweeted out. New York Times is calling Trump. That's interesting. I let's let this continue to play out. Andy, back to you really quick. I've noticed that you've got your new website is Andy 2020. You want to tell us what's going on with that and what happened in 2016 for you?
I'm provisionally exploring just rolling everything over and running in 2020. But I must say, if Mr. Trump does win and comes into the presidency and begins implementing his promises to rescue the working class in our country from decades of official interaction, I might sit out 2020. But I have, just on a provisional basis, begun to implement the rudimentary elements of another campaign. What happened to me in 2016 is I began with no funding. I basically accumulated about $20,000 in donations, and I assembled 100 proposals, a new agenda for a new America that was lauded by pundits as, just to toot my own horn here a little bit, awesome, brilliant, unrivaled, genius in print. And one pundit even described my platform as a life experience to read. And the only network that covered my campaign, to include my platform, was the BBC.
Well, I did too, Andy. And if you remember, we announced everything over on Coast to Coast.
True. I meant on television.
Yeah.
And I meant the lock that CNN, MSNBC,
right,
and Fox and NBC have on the presidential election process.
Yeah, I would have thought
it's almost a brainwashing process that they implement.
Yeah, I would have thought when you announced on Coast that all of the networks would pay you some attention, and I was surprised that that didn't happen, and it was just the BBC.
Well, that's what happened, and I think we really have to ask how our presidential election process is organized so that the mainstream media really represents now a fourth branch of government that really has a determinative impact on who gets covered and on what's discussed during the campaign. One of the observations I'd like to make, just as somebody who threw his hat into the ring this time, is that I felt that the entire process was incredibly superficial. I mean, we're a great country, and I think we have a great past and a great destiny. But I don't think we really engaged the process of authentically discussing where we are and where we're tending as a country as deeply as we once did. Let's say during the height of our parents' generation as presidential voters. Let's say the Kennedy-Nixon debates. I was just struck by how incredibly superficial and also just sort of personal and antagonistic the debates were, the exclusion of really any profound discussion of the things we should be focusing on to consider, not just sort of chasing issues like ambulance chasers, which I think the debate process on television tends to encourage, and also just the negativity of attacking other candidates. But there was very little anticipatory democracy that was part of the process, and that both astonished me and disappointed me as I went about the task of trying to inform voters what I would try to accomplish as president and why it matters.
Yeah, I remember, Andy, if we reflect and we go back, the conversations that you and I have had over the last couple of years, we on Fade to Black, man, it's been over a year now. We went over 1 hour on the broadcast just to go over your platforms. And I was so impressed about the way that you were handling not only the questions, because you had direct answers to a lot of very sophisticated and complex issues, not only with what was going on inside of this country, but also internationally too as well. And I thought that you had really thought out everything. And then you and I got together last year where we were involved with the TV show, and you and I were able to sit down for an hour maybe or two and sit down and just talk politics, and without anybody else listening. It was just the two of us sitting down, and I walked away from that conversation that you and I had, again, albeit it was private. I went away from that going, this guy has got this thought out and thought through, and his message needs to be heard. I don't understand why it just didn't happen when you were speaking from a position of sense, and it was very comprehensive, and I was very impressed by that.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. I just think it's a matter of the Beltway press corps not wanting to explore the issue of what kind of country we want to become. There's a set of issues that they approve of, that they elicit pat answers to, that for the most part didn't really explore our potential as a country. And that's what I was trying to do in my 100 proposals.
Do you think the time travel aspect of yourself had something to do with it?
I think that in order to reach the presidency, I'm going to have to reach a place with the American people where they understand that I'm telling the truth. And that process is ongoing. I mean, even just recently, I think, as you know, I brought forward William Whitecrow, who was the individual who trained me in martial arts when I was time traveling for DARPA and then guarded my life on Mars. And that was the nature of his disclosure. And so I've been proving my claims, but I do think there's a lag effect where it may take, let's say, a couple more election cycles, like let's say maybe 8 years, before people realize that I've been telling the truth in my truth campaign, and that, this country reached such a state of technical sophistication when we were yet children that by 1970 we'd actually achieved time travel, but kept it secret, and that we've been keeping back a number of advanced technologies that we could use to lead the world in applied science, and should be.
Yeah, I know that is one obstacle that you're going to have to face as the press, starts to know more about you and the difficulties of the questions that are going to come your way. And I know that you've thought a lot about this, but how are you going to respond to the press when they are going to, A, try to make fun of the issue, number one, or two, maybe treat it serious and confront you with these questions? How do you answer that and try to overcome it? I mean, I understand you need to sway the American people, obviously, and to convince them that you're telling the truth. But the press corps is a whole nother ball of wax, and it's a vicious pack of wild dogs.
Well, it is a problem because, in fact, by not understanding the true history of the country and the fact that, the permanent secret government has had trillions of dollars, 70 years since the Manhattan Project, and the minds of the world's leading physicists and engineers to develop all manner of things since the Manhattan Project, to include time travel. So in a sense, all I can do is stand in my truth and continue to describe what happened and make the argument that, look, you journalists are going to have to become historians if you're going to be accurately reporting about, for example, what our options are. For example, to address something like climate change. I mean, if we implemented Tesla teleportation and got rid of the internal combustion engine for all areas of transport, that would constitute a 60% solution to the human component of climate change. In other words, we would omit from releasing into the global atmosphere every year more than 50% of the greenhouse gases that are attributable to human industry. So I simply have to take the same logical, factual approach that I've been taking and stand in my truth and not relent and make the case. In fact, that's the case that has to be made. You know, I'm in a sense still on Project Pegasus, in the sense that the primary mission of DARPA is to prevent military surprise. One of the things that I've been emphasizing in my recent interviews and public appearances is that if this great country doesn't achieve implementing a teleportation network, some other group could, another country or a group of organized criminals or terrorists or what have you. So in a sense, I'm still on Project Pegasus, and one of my major goals in running for president is to prevent the military surprise that we would be confronted with if, let's say, China implemented a teleportation network before we did. I believe we should occupy the high field of applied quantum physics, and that's why I will continue to do my part to stand in my truth and continue to run for president, so that even if I don't reach the presidency, I've upheld my patriotic duty to advise my fellow citizens that these technical proficiencies exist and that we should lead the world in implementing them.
What would you do, Andy, with the situation in Syria right now? If you were president right now, what would you do?
My position isn't much different from Mr. Trump's on that. I think that we should make an ally of Russia. I think that it's clear that Russia is not the former Soviet Union. They've abandoned communism. They've embraced capitalism. We should not be waging proxy wars in the Middle East and reach the point of even being in a nuclear war or World War III with Russia. And we should embrace the response to ISIS that the Russians have implemented and work with international partners like Russia to basically destroy ISIS and try to stabilize that country. I think it's our duty to do so because we did so much to destabilize countries like Syria and Iraq. But I'm much more in alignment with Mr. Trump on Syria.
It seems okay. So just go in and clear things out, boots on the ground.
Yeah, I think when you have that kind of breakdown of civil order, you have no other option but to implement a military solution. But I also agree with his very intelligent point that we shouldn't be announcing our military operations even months in advance.
Yeah.
I mean, we're being governed by national leaders like Mr. Obama, who I might add does not have the courage of telling his own life story as one of the Mars jumpers who were my comrades in the CIA's Mars jump room program of the 1980s. That's a major point with me. I think that President Obama's one of his glaring failures as president was to conceal his own life story and essentially periodically disseminate disinformation ploys suggesting that we're not on Mars and that the claims of people like me that he was in the Mars jump room program are fictional and so forth. I mean, President Obama recently stated that we will reach Mars in the 2030s, which means in his own career in life, he has implemented a 50-year cover-up regarding Mars. I mean, he was trained with us and was going there in the early 80s. And as president, he has now stated that we will probably make that great leap and reach Mars by the 2030s. In fact, he was part of the American effort to occupy Mars that first began when we placed astronauts on Mars in 1964. Okay, so that's the caliber of the individual that we're being led by at the national level. So that's why, as a candidate in this race, I began to gradually, initially grudgingly, but then gradually more and more admire Donald Trump and see in his candidacy different hallmarks that I was hoping to evince in my own candidacy, in the sense that he was trying, within the limits of his own knowledge and intelligence, to speak the truth to the American people. And so that's what I've tried to do. And to that extent, I'm heartened by what looks like the prospect that the winner of this particular race will be Donald Trump. And I do think this represents a fairly profound historical turning for the country.
We've got 1 minute before we hit a break, and I want to thank you, Andy, for taking the time to come on with us tonight. But one last question really quick. A year from now, you're hanging out in Chicago, and you look over at you're in a restaurant, and you look over, and there's Barack, and you go up to him. What do you say?
I say, Barack, you betrayed your comrades. You were the first of us to reach the presidency. I supported you. When we were going to Mars together, I protected your life. Do you recall the episode where I pulled you out of the jump room by your hand when you became frightened about extricating yourself from your situation, telling you that I would sit there as long as I had to alleviate you being in the threat that would result if you had stayed cowering down in the corner of that particular jump room? I mean, man, I helped protect your life on another planet, and I voted for you. And then when it came time to reveal to the American people and the people of the world that you and I personally went to Mars for our country during Ronald Reagan's first term, for reasons of superficial political opportunism, you concealed that fact. And that was a major failure of yours as president.
I want to thank you, Andy, for all that you do. You're one of the best, one of the most intelligent guys that I know. Thank you so much for taking the time tonight on this very important historical day. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you.
You got it. Andy Basiago, everybody. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Got Mike Bara in here co-hosting with me tonight. It is the elections. Who's going to win? Well, we'll find out. We got 90 more minutes. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Work with your doctor when taking medications. Make Protovite part of your healthy lifestyle.
HealthForLiberty.com is your source for Protovite, a powerful nutritional supplement that's a true breakthrough for your health. Poor digestion makes it nearly impossible to absorb the nutrition your body needs. Protovite is a liquid multi-nutrient formula with patent-pending absorption technology and the highest quality ingredients to nourish every cell in your body.
My name is Sandra White. 6 weeks ago, when I started taking Protovite, I was on 14 medications, from everything for blood pressure to fibromyalgia. In the first 10 days, my blood sugar dropped 50 points, and my fibromyalgia pain is gone. And so was 12 of the 14 medications that I was taking. I'm 66, living life and loving it.
Go to healthforliberty.com right now. That's healthforliberty.com.
Thank you, Protovite, for giving my life back.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Thank you, Andy Basiago. My co-host tonight, Mike Bara. Mike, Andy's a pretty bright guy, huh?
He is a super bright guy, and honestly, I haven't listened to him that often, or really ever, listened to him before. And I was extremely impressed with his intellect and the things he had to say. And Andy's story is pretty out there, but you have to give him a lot of credit. He's no dummy. You can tell he's got a very, very high level of education.
He's got a very large cranium.
Yes.
He sleeps on a very big pillow because he's got a big brain.
His brain is okay. So Iowa has just been called for Trump, and Wisconsin, Fox News is now projecting is going to go to Donald Trump.
Yeah. So Fox just gave Wisconsin. Now, by the way,
I don't know if anybody else has followed up with that yet, but
pot is now legal in the state of California.
Well, I thought it was. I thought it kind of already was. It's not. I mean, I've only been gone a couple months. Did something change?
Pot is
what
now.
The heck?
Now, if one thing has come out of this election, pot is now legal in California. So,
but Jimmy, come on. The really important issue in California is: are porn stars going to be required to wear condoms or not? Is that up or down?
Oh man, Mike, we're talking politics now. Right now. Fox has got a 209, 232, right? Now, this is what's interesting. CNN has got it 197 Clinton, 187 Trump, right? They won't capitulate. And I haven't...
Well, it is. People do call it the Clinton News Network, so that may not be too surprising.
Well, it's no different over at Fox for Trump now, is it? Come on, you got to call it like it is.
No, I wouldn't ever say that. No, of course not.
Exactly. No, that's what's funny is to see CNN calling it one way, 197, 187. They still haven't given Wisconsin to Trump. They have not done that, even though he's up by 4 points with 88% of the vote in. But they just won't. They won't give in. Right? It's really funny. And but that's where we're sitting right now, 209, 238 for Trump. And there you go. Okay.
Yeah, 32 to go. 32 to go for him if he's going to be president. So.
Yeah, I don't have the actual map here for CNN won't show the map. Right, they just won't do it. They won't give in. So
sorry, hang on. I'm tweeting to Jenna Jameson right now.
Okay, yeah, please.
Okay, there we go. All right, yeah.
Okay, what's the AP? Okay, so right now, Clinton is still up by 1.5 points. It is 80. What do I see this here? 81. Man, I got to put on my glasses, man. I just can't read this small type. Yeah, 81% of the vote is in Pennsylvania. Clinton, it's just gone up a little bit. Clinton pulling away in Pennsylvania. And so if that pops in, that would put Clinton at 239 and Trump at 238, according to Fox.
Now, I'm doing my own tracking here, and I'm giving Trump, states like Georgia that haven't been called for him yet, but he's way ahead there, so I don't know why they're not calling Georgia. But basically, I've given him, the states that Trump was expected to win: Idaho, Utah, Arizona, Montana. The states I have left on the board still are Oregon, Nevada, Minnesota, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Maine. But right now, the way I think the total is, with Wisconsin going to Trump, is 269. If Hillary sweeps the rest of the board, she wins Maine, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, and Oregon. Guess what we have? We have a 269 to 2. These are states I'm sure Trump is going to win.
Wow.
So if Hillary sweeps the board, the last 7 states, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states, we'd have a 269 tie. So it's not over yet at all, folks. It's not over.
Yep. Even though CNN will not give in on Florida. Right, that's still up in the air.
Right, but and it's very close. I mean, but I think most news organizations, of course, I just got done trashing news organizations, but most of them have now called Florida for Trump. So, actually, CNN just called it. I just saw it. It just came up on my Twitter feed.
What, Wisconsin?
CNN is projecting Florida for Trump. They were holding out, but now they're projecting it.
Okay, so right now they have it 268 to 269. Right now, I'm looking at it on CNN, 268 to 269. And there's not enough votes. Oh, man. Isn't that interesting? 268 to 269.
Let's not do that, America.
Oh, man. Wouldn't that just be too much?
Well, yeah, because then what would happen? What would have to happen is Trump would. Who's got 269? Trump or
Trump? Trump has got 269.
Okay,
Hillary's
so then,
got 268.
Yeah, so it's possible. I mean, oh my God, yeah. Well, it's not over yet by any stretch.
Okay,
folks.
so
But
now
it's
they're
getting
giving.
close.
Yeah, they've just officially given Trump Florida. That just popped up on CNN. I'm looking at it here. Unreal. 268 to 269. If everything just falls the way it's supposed to fall from here on out, which it hasn't yet. Wow. So Basiago and you could be right. It looks like it could be a Trump victory here. Now, so CNN showing Trump with 216 and Clinton with 197.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with Maine still out, New Hampshire still out. They still haven't given Washington to Clinton, even though Fox
I think
has.
She's got that.
Yeah, Fox has given that to her. Interesting. It's about as crazy of an election as it could possibly be, and I'm so rarely at a lack of words, right? But right now, this is what does this do, Mike, for the polling industry? If you have a polling company, are you worth dirt right now?
No, you're not. And, look, they're kind of, as they say, foist upon their own petard here, because the bottom line is that a lot of these companies took money from very specific sources, from media sources or even from the DNC or from the Hillary campaign to create these polls, and they skewed them. And, a lot of it, Jimmy, a lot of it was so crazy, it couldn't possibly have just been sampling errors, right? I mean, a lot of them were basically predicated on we're going to have the same demographic turnout as we did in 2012. That's always unlikely because the demographics always shift in elections. But that you could kind of excuse. What you can't excuse is polls like, you remember 10 days ago, the ABC News polls, Washington Post poll came out and Hillary has a 15-point lead nationally. That's fabrication. That was just always fabrication.
Right.
And so they can't, their credibility along with the mainstream media is just, it's out the window. It just, there's just no way. So I don't know that anybody's going to take this stuff seriously anymore. Remember in 2004, we had the great exit poll problem where, early in the day, the exit poll showed John Kerry was going to win, and then the real results came in, and they didn't match the exit polls. And so then they did a big reformation of how they calculated exit polling. And this whole thing has to be blown up. I mean, the news media has really been exposed here in general, and the pollsters specifically. And I just don't think that I don't think a lot of these were errors. I think they were just flat out fabrications designed to create a preconceived result. And there's even WikiLeaks emails where the Democrats talk about hiring pollsters to create polls to suppress Republican turnout and get them all depressed. And just, their credibility is out the window. So we're looking at the possibility. And here's the thing. When I wrote that book, The Choice, I talked about all these shifts and changes. The thing is that this is an opportunity for us to change things and have something better. Like the media is going to come crashing down to a great extent. The pollsters are going to come crashing down. And we can now choose to replace them with something better and something that works more honestly and openly. And Jimmy, you look at 2012, we all talked about 2012 forever and the whole thing about the apocalypse. And the apocalypse simply means the lifting of the veil. Maybe the veil is going to be lifted on all this dirty, corrupt stuff that's been going on in our halls of government and in our institutions for a long, long time. And how is that a bad thing? I think it's going to be a good thing. I mean, I guess if it's like the French Revolution where a bunch of people end up at the guillotine, it's probably not a good thing. But, I just think you have to look at this as an opportunity to really shift things because that appears to be what's happening.
And let me ask you this. Do you, and hypothetically speaking, just in a crazy world, Trump makes it to office, do you honestly think, I'm going to give you 3 questions in a row, answer them all. Do you think he really, really, A, wants to be president of the United States, or is this just another quest and another goal, right? But does he seriously want to be president, number one? Number two, do you see him really, I swear, waking up every day with the intention of running this country and not the Trump empire? Do you think he'll become bored with this? Do you really think that he is in for the long haul?
Okay, that was only 2 questions.
Okay, well, I didn't get to the third one.
I think I do. Look, I mean, I am no psychic, and I am not somebody who does a really good job analyzing other people. I've always depended on others for that in my life. But whether somebody's a good guy or a bad guy. But some people I meet, like you, I instantly know he's a good guy. I have to say that I believe when Trump says, "I am only doing this because I love this country. I love the way it used to be. It's going to hell in a handbasket, and I really want to change things. I really want to fix these problems." When he says that, I believe him. And I do think he's going to be – he might be just a one-term president. He may not run for re-election. He may come in, accomplish the things – if he can get cooperation, accomplish the things he wants to accomplish. Our economy is in pretty pathetic shape after 8 years of the current administration. And there's a lot of work to be done with the tax system and a lot of those kinds of things that can really help a lot there. So I honestly think – I really do, and this is why I voted for him and supported him. I honestly think that he really sincerely is doing this because he wants to make things better. Now, in a conspiratorial vein, I've been told that he was just playing a role and didn't ever expect to win. So what if this is a complete shock to him as well? I don't know, Jimmy. I just think the future right now, we all think he's going to, there's going to be a transition and he's going to be inaugurated, but so many things can happen in the next 3 months. There's so many changes and shifts that could go on in our culture and our society. Who knows what's going to happen? And once he gets into office, if in fact he actually does assume the office of the presidency.
Okay, so RT has got it 209, 232 for Trump right now. Fox is showing 209 to 254 for Trump, 16 votes away.
Right.
CNN is still showing 216 and 209. And I'm looking here, Pennsylvania has just closed up quite a bit, and it's not as separated as it was. And according to the Fox map, if he nabs Pennsylvania, he's now sitting at 274. And that's and there you go. I mean, it's over. Wow. And I don't know which way to look at this right now. Like I said, RT has got a 209, 232. I'm looking at 3-4 different screens right now, everybody. That's why I'm stuttering just a little bit. But to see the Fox map at 209 and 254, that's pretty telling. That's it's courageous to go that far out in projecting all of this. But Wisconsin looks like it's closing up a little bit, according to CNN right now. And Fox went ahead and gave that to Trump as a 20-point swing. And they're focusing now on Maine, which is only 4 electoral votes. I don't know if it's going to come down to one of these smaller states that could determine this. Nevada.
Well, yeah, not if Trump wins, Pennsylvania or Michigan, then it won't come down. But if Hillary holds on to those, then yeah, it could very well come down to one of the small states.
Yeah, in Minnesota right now, 63% of the vote in, 50% Clinton, 42% Trump. Michigan right now is it's about 1 percentage point away, leaning on Trump with 60% of the vote in. Pennsylvania, 82% of the vote in, 50% Clinton, 47.5% Trump. So still 1.5 points separating those. Maine, 60% in, heavy Clinton, 49% to 44%, with 60% of the vote in. New Hampshire, 67% of the vote in, just about a tie, 48 and 47%. So there you go. Now, what's going on with Arizona? Arizona right now, about 46% Clinton, 49% Trump, with 61% in. Nevada, heavy Clinton, with 63% of the vote in. So
yeah, and Nevada was one of the states where there was a very large Hispanic population, and unlike Florida's Hispanic population was a lot of it was Cuban, and they were very much Republican and favored Trump, and it's not like that in Nevada. So we'll see what happens there, but it does look like, I think that's a state that's leaning Clinton at the very least right now.
Yeah. So let's see, at 209, that would be 229. That would be 245, 265, 269. Yeah, so if Hillary sweeps, right, she grabs Minnesota and she grabs Michigan, grabs Pennsylvania, and holds on to Nevada, that puts her at 275, according to my calculation right here. So there you go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But see, that still leaves Arizona and Maine out. So I don't know. Let's keep this running. I don't know which way this is going to swing, man. Is it possible? I know people keep talking about this 269 tie. How is that possible?
Well, just the way the electoral votes add up, it's all based on, it's all they built it into the electoral college system. It's all based on population, obviously. And I don't think you can add electoral votes to the total. I believe there was always a full total of electoral votes that are distributed according to the population. Like I think that California used to have more electoral votes, I think 59 than it does now. And
yeah, I do remember
I'm being
that.
told by my correspondent Dave Bara that it did not. So
okay, well, look, what I'm saying, based on Fox's map right here, right, that I'm looking at, and based on the states that are leaning Clinton right now, right, just on Fox's map, Clinton is at 209. She takes Minnesota, that's 219. Takes Michigan at 16, that's 235. Pennsylvania, that would be 255, 259 with Maine, and 6 for Nevada. Yeah, 265. Huh. Yeah, it is in time, and he's at 254 plus 11. That would be 265. That's a 265 tie. What am I leaving out here? I feel like I'm missing a state because...
Well, if you got New Hampshire and then Maine's electoral votes can be split. And Arizona hasn't been called for Trump yet officially.
Right. So if you give that...
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, Arizona hasn't been called.
It hasn't been called. So if you give him that 11, that's 265. And you have New Hampshire left. It's 265, 265. New Hampshire left with 4. And you get, that's 269 to 265, right? So 269, 269 is not a possibility. Unless I'm doing my math wrong. Somebody help me here. Oh, Alaska. We haven't done Alaska.
Alaska. Okay, there it is. Yeah, there's our missing 3 electoral votes.
And that would be...
Jimmy, by the way, I was told there would be no math.
So there is... Yeah, right, I know. So that's the 269, 268, and then Hawaii. Oh, Hawaii's already been called. So that's it. So it would be 269, 268 if the chips fell the way they are right now. Wow. Holy crap. Is it possible? Somebody tweeted out earlier that Paul Ryan already had his inauguration party in Reno.
That's an inside joke, and I do get that. Who was that? Which?
I don't know.
Twitter
That was about 2 hours ago, but that
Yeah.
was also before all of this conversation that we are having now at the end of all of this. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay, Pennsylvania is now up to 84% of the vote in. It's closed up a little bit. It's 1.2% instead of 1.4, but it's at 84%. But still too close to call, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking at the New York Times little probability dials, and they're saying, 83% of all votes in Pennsylvania have been counted, and based on votes that have been counted and votes that remain, according to the New York Times models, they're saying it's definitely leaning Trump at about 69% right now, but it's not called, so we have a ways to go. Quite a ways to go.
Man, you really like the New York Times, don't you?
No, I don't like the New York Times at all, but I mean, they do have a really good little system there. They've got these little dials. If you go to Drudge Report, you can get that.
Okay, they've finally given Georgia to Trump.
Yeah.
Man,
Rita. That came a few minutes ago.
Man, Rita's quick. Bam. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Rita is outperforming my correspondent, Dave Bara. There's no question about that.
Yeah, well,
plus, there's the whole bacon thing.
Yeah.
So.
And now that pot is legalized, we've got Fade to Black coffee.
You have to get your own brand.
Do I have my own
Fade
weed?
to Black?
Yeah,
brand
but then I have to endorse it, and don't I have to smoke it then?
I don't know. Well, if you only endorse products which you actually use, if you have that kind of integrity, then yeah, you do. But it is legal in California. So.
Wow, that is trippy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cross that one. Well, we'll wait and see who approaches us. But there may be a Fade to Black vodka in the future. I'm just
I hope it's that vodka you gave me from Russia or something that was the most amazing vodka I've ever had in my life. You know what I'm talking about, right? The last time I was at the house, granted it was months ago, but
I have no idea. Idea.
It was the smoothest. There was no burn. I couldn't believe it.
What was what did the bottle look like? Do you remember?
Well, it was just clear. It was pretty plain. It was like Rita's special blend, or I don't know where it was from. But I think it was actually real Russian vodka, and it was utterly amazing.
Somebody wants.
You know what it was like? It was like Romulan ale from Star Trek, only it wasn't blue. You should actually put blue coloring in it next time we drink that.
What made me think about all of this is, out of everything that we've got going right now, the coffee and other things that are all really cool, but we could never. I don't think we could do Fade to Black bacon.
Right?
I mean, we
Rita's
should.
special blend. I can see Rita's picture on the cover, on the package right now.
Do you remember, as we're waiting for some more projections to come in here? Do you remember that night that Rita made the bacon with the fig sauce?
Is that what it was? Was that the night I was there that I brought bacon? Like she said, bring bacon, and so I brought bacon, and it was a joke, and then she made bacon anyway.
Yeah, and do you remember that?
I do, and that bacon that was probably the best meal I've ever eaten in my life, and that was the highlight of it was Rita's bacon.
And
so.
was that incredible?
It was unbelievable. I mean, she just whipped it up. She just made some sauce and cooked the bacon and put the sauce on it, and it was just like, oh my God, I could have eaten a pound of that stuff. It was unbelievable.
Okay, so now CNN has capitulated a little bit. They've got Trump at 232. Clinton at 209, just like Fox. Fox has got Clinton at 209, but it has Trump at 254. And Michigan, okay. So right now, Michigan, Wisconsin is definitely Trump. That's looking, but there's only 73% of the vote in. But Fox has stepped up and called that. Arizona looks like that's going Trump's way.
I would think so. I mean, that was always a state that I never really felt like was really in play. I was, I never really bought that.
Right. New Hampshire, 10,000 votes ahead, but only 69% of the vote in. And still, CNN will not call Iowa for Trump. That's the other point lead that Fox has got them. But 106,000 votes ahead in New Hampshire. Pennsylvania is still the same. Clinton is ahead 40,000 votes, 85% in, 1.5% separating everybody there. Nevada, Clinton is way ahead with 66% in, much smaller population there, 39,000 votes.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's going to swing that way. So yeah, this is getting crazy. Yeah, Pennsylvania 85%, Trump at 47.8%, Clinton at 48.7%. So now, according to Fox, it's less than 1% in Pennsylvania with 85% of the vote in.
You get the feeling the networks are just stretching this out just to keep us watching at this point. I mean, maybe think it's a possibility.
I do think that's a possibility. There, but there's not a whole lot of advertising that's going on right now, is there? I haven't seen too many ads pop in.
No, but it doesn't. Again, it's a quantity quality thing. I mean, if you're getting 6 times what you normally get for a primetime ad on your primetime coverage on election night, then you're going to make more money anyway.
Yep. Now, this is what's pretty crazy here. If this plays out like it is, right? If it plays out right now, you've got Clinton. Let's do this math again one more time. So Clinton takes Nevada. That's 215. Takes Minnesota. That's 225. Takes Pennsylvania. That's 245. And pulls off Michigan with 16. That's 245, 251, and Maine at 4, 255, and Alaska, and it looks like New Hampshire's a possibility. It looks like a frigging tie, 269 to 268. I don't see anybody here getting to 270. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Unless Pennsylvania swings. I mean, I just don't see it.
Okay, well, we shall see. Right now, yeah, the Times is still projecting that Trump's going to win Pennsylvania, so we shall see.
Yeah. Now,
CBS also predicted, based on exit polling, he'd win by 2 in Pennsylvania. But again, you still have to have the votes counted. So,
well,
wouldn't that be extraordinary if it was a tie?
Well, you also have Michigan in play here, and if he takes Michigan and he's at 254 right now, according to Fox's projections, then he would be at 270.
It's all but over at that point. Yeah,
exactly. All right,
let me do an update. Are we ready for a break?
Yeah, we're taking a break right now. You do your update, and we'll hit all of the states when we come back. Our co-host tonight, the one and only Mike Bara. He's a happy guy right now. He's in a good mood. I don't know, Mike. We're going to have to go 2 hours over. I'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store. So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Election night live. My co-host tonight, Mike Bara. This is too close to call. Right now, it is too close to call. I've just gone around the maps and looking at everything. Mike, what have you got? Bara. All right. I guess Mike is away doing his calculations. Let me just say this. So I've just bounced around with everything. We have Nevada right now with 66% of the vote in. Clinton up nearly 50% to about 44% ahead of Trump. That's where that's sitting. Arizona now is closing up. Clinton is now 45.8%. And Trump is at 49%. So 46 to 49, about 3 percentage points apart, with 61% of the vote in. Now we have Minnesota, Clinton 50%, Trump 42%, almost 43%, with 70% of the vote in. Michigan, right now, this is closing up now. It's 46.6% for Clinton, 48.3% for Trump, 1.5 percentage points apart, with 64% of the vote in. Pennsylvania, 89% of the vote in. It is now a tie. We have 48.3 for Clinton, 48.2 for Trump. Maine is leaning Clinton heavily, and New Hampshire is a dead tie, 47% each. Oh, it just changed. It went 47.9 for Clinton down to 47 for Trump. Wow. Unbelievable. Let's go back and look at Pennsylvania one more time. Clinton's got the lead by 0.1%, and I'm looking at about a 4,000 vote lead for Clinton right now in Pennsylvania. Who would have thunk? It is crazy. Let's take another look at Mike. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. Geraldo Rivera, of all people, is tweeting that the Canada immigration site has crashed.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I just saw that. Pennsylvania now is a tie. It's a tie. Clinton is 48.3. Clinton is 48.3. Trump is 48.2. Clinton holding 89% of the vote in, with 4,000 votes in the lead.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. It's down to 4,000. So that's
4,200.
And The New York Times is still projecting it's leaning Trump's way because of where the remaining votes are.
Of course.
So,
Of course. Arizona. Let's go back to Arizona. Let's take a look at this one more time. 61% of the vote in. It's about 46% Clinton, 49%. So only 3 points separating with 61% of the vote in Arizona. I find that very, very interesting. But you still have Nevada is heavy Clinton, Minnesota, heavy Clinton, Maine, heavy Clinton, and let me take a look at New Hampshire here. New Hampshire is, it's just about a tie with 77% in. Woo, man, it's a tie. It's less than 1% apart in New Hampshire.
Well, it looks like we may be looking at a night where the actual vote in each state will be very close, but it might end up that the electoral map ends up looking, kind of one-sided, but it really wasn't that one-sided of an election. We shall see. It's definitely still tight and nothing's decided, and it's a pretty amazing night so far, really. I can't remember an election that was this much fun since like 2000 when it was really, really tight.
Yeah, exactly. And with Pennsylvania doing what it is doing right now, it looked like Clinton was pretty comfortable, but Trump has taken the lead in Pennsylvania, 48.3 to 48.2.
Wow, that's
a shock, and it's 90% of the vote in.
Really, it's up to 90%. What side are you actually looking at right now?
I'm looking at both. I'm looking at Fox and CNN. They're both reporting the same number.
Okay, because Drudge was previously linking to the actual vote totals, and now he's linking to the Times, probability meters thing there. So it's a little bit different. Okay. Wow. Well, Jimmy, I don't know what more to say about it at this point that we haven't already said. I mean, it's a very strange night. It's not over. It's still very close. I would encourage people who haven't voted yet to go out and vote, but that would just be Hawaii at this point, right?
No, Alaska. Alaska.
Yeah, I don't know if Alaska's polls are still open. I guess they are. They're 2 or 3 hours behind us, right?
Yeah, they're not. They're showing 0 right now. There's nothing posted for Alaska. And there are 3 electoral votes. But, 90% on Fox and CNN for Pennsylvania, and that would close out the election.
Well, I mean, like I said, the way I'm projecting it, looking at it, we're looking at Maine, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, and Oregon. And Hillary has to win all those states. And, of course, Oregon, I think she's going to win. But, in fact, I'll put that in her category.
Yeah, right? Fox has already given Oregon to her. So was CNN.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know it had been called yet. Okay.
Okay, so they're showing now CNN 238 for Trump, 209 for Clinton. Unchanged for Fox because they've extended everything out, right? 254 to 209. And there you go. I'm looking over on Twitter to see if I've got any updates from anybody over here. Rita, give me an update with RT. I want to know what RT is doing. Let's see. TASS is reporting. Oh, thank you, Rita. TASS out of Russia is saying 255 for Trump. So they've got
at this point. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of weird because Fox has got it at 254. Where's the extra vote coming from? It's a combination of stuff, but
it could be that it could be for Maine, where Maine splits their electoral college votes 3-1. There's one second district, I think, in Maine that Trump has a shot at winning, and if he does win it, he gets one electoral vote out of the 4 that Maine has. So that's how that works.
Man, it's weird that CNN will not give up Wisconsin. Just will not do it. 77% of the vote in. They just won't.
Well, these guys have their models, and, on election night, they're pretty good at projecting. The polls, of course, aren't very reliable, but the actual election night projections of states are pretty reliable. So, right now, that's like I said, I had 270. If Trump wins, I had 269 for Trump as my projection based on the way things stand now. If Trump wins that single district in Maine and gets that one electoral vote, then that puts him at 270.
Interesting. And he's pulling away a little bit in Pennsylvania now. He's got a 10,000 vote lead, 48.3 to 48.1 in Pennsylvania.
Jeez, could it be any closer than that?
Wow. You know,
but of course, Jimmy, the important news in the last couple of days is not going to be that Hillary or Donald Trump is elected president. The important news is that the Seattle Seahawks beat the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football last night. That's really what's the most important thing.
They're still in last place, though, right?
No. My Seahawks? Come on. They're 5-2-1. They're in first place.
Yeah, okay, just checking. How about the Rams? Okay, so
how about them Rams?
Hey, man, they were 3-1 at one point.
Yeah, now they're 3-5.
Okay,
right?
Mike, I have no clue what's going on in the NFL this year.
I
The
know.
Colts are out of it, and that's all that I care about. So, this is what I find interesting. I want to go back to voter fraud and rigging. If Trump wins this election, does he cry? Does he ask for investigation into voter fraud?
No,
of
no,
course
of course
not,
not.
right?
I mean, come on. Not if he wins. Why
Right.
would you do that if he wins?
Right.
No, but I don't mean to be, too
does that-
facetious about this, but no, of course not.
Does that make him a hypocrite?
I guess you could say it could because it's a question of principle, but there's also a point where you have to govern. And, if you beat up on your enemies and rub it in, then it's, you're going to have a hard time working with them if you have to work with them. So, you could look at it that way, too.
Yeah. Okay. I want to take the time now that this is starting to get even crazier right now. I want to open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Who's going to weigh in first on these absolutely shocking developments? If you listen to the polls or listen to the media, certainly for the last year, the last month, the last week, here we are right now. It looks like Trump is in a really, really good position and must be feeling really good right now. What do you think about that? 323-825-5045. We're on about.
Well, yeah, he's feeling really good right now, unless he really didn't plan on winning.
Well, yeah. Well, of
What?
course, you're not in this race at any level if you don't think you're going to win. But,
Jimmy, and there's one thing I want to say too that I think is, you can agree with me or disagree with me. Let me put it out there and see what you think about it. People that don't like Donald Trump, the idea of Donald Trump as president, people that don't think he shouldn't be taken seriously or think that, this is, how did we reach this point? If you voted for Barack Obama, you have nobody but yourself to blame, because Barack Obama was extraordinarily unqualified to be president of the United States. People voted for him because they wanted to vote for a black president because of the symbolism of it. There's an awful lot of that. And basically everybody kind of thought, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to have a hip hop president? And so basically we voted for a celebrity president. And that opened the door for Trump. It was the fact that we voted for this really insubstantial person with virtually no experience. All he ever did was he was a community organizer. And so if you're lamenting the fact that we've reached a point where, basically a reality TV star can be president of the United States, they started it. So it's kind of like Trump was created, in fact, by Barack Obama, because Obama was not any more qualified to be president than Trump is. And yet here we are with kind of two, I guess, very non-traditional presidents in a row if Trump wins.
Yeah, Mike, stay right there. I'm going to put you on hold. Let me grab some of these calls. Hold on for a second. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi. Is this Fran?
Hi. Yes, it is.
Okay, really quick, Fran. I've got a ton of calls here, and I've got Mike on hold.
What do you do?
What do you think about? Are you surprised about the way this is going right now?
No, not a bit.
Okay. And
I just figure that it's all going to play out in the end, and then after the fact, there's going to be a whole mess of crap going on. Recounts and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. We've got another 45 minutes left on the show here, and we'll see how things start to play out a little bit further. Nobody wants to step forward at this point and make any other projections. So we're sitting at this 209, 254 situation. So let's see how it plays out. And thank you for the phone call, Fran.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Hey, I didn't even do a presidential vote. I just went, whatever.
Right.
I only voted on the marijuana thing.
I bet. Okay.
I was like, yes. And I don't even smoke.
There you go. Thank you so much, Fran, and we'll see you tomorrow night on the show.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. There you go. Mike, are you still there? Mike? Okay. Bara, are you there? Okay. Let's go. Bara, are you there?
I am here, Jimmy Church.
Okay, there you go. Fran says she's not surprised about this. Did you hear the phone call?
No, I didn't. I couldn't hear the phone call.
Okay, all right. Let me I'm going to jump over to Australia. I just dropped that call. Okay.
They called all the way from Australia and you lost them? Oh.
Yeah. Some people hang in there, and I just didn't get to it in time. And there was a bunch of other calls too, but okay, let me try this. Mike, stay right there. Let me see if I can pull this in. Hold on. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Australia. Lynn, you're live. Turn me down in the background.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Are you surprised with the election so far?
Oh, absolutely shocked.
Well, how do you think Australia is going to react to this in the morning? It's already the daytime there for you guys, right?
It's 4:00 in the afternoon. We're not going to cope very well at all. Like our Prime Minister has already said that God help us if Trump gets in.
Right. Well, the world is going to trip. Okay, Pennsylvania is now back to a tie. Okay, so there you go. It's back to 48-2 with 92% of the vote in. So, but it's pretty wild right now over here in the United States. I think a lot of people are freaked out, but we always knew it was a 50-50 call here. So that this could go either way, and it looks like Trump is in a pretty comfortable position right now. He's just a couple of states away of pulling this out.
Oh dear, it's a bit sickening. Hello, Mike. By the way.
Oh, he's on hold on the other side. So, but there you go. Thank you so much, Lynn, and I will tell him you said hello.
Yeah, well, good luck.
We're all going to need it. No matter who was going to make it to the White House, it was going to be a crazy 4 years. So there you go.
I think mostly people are just worried about the fiscal part of what Trump's after.
Well, I of course, and look, if you're in Mexico right now, you are tripping. Right. Thank you so much, Lynn, and we'll see you tomorrow night on the show.
Bye.
All right, let me bring Mike back in here. Mike, that was Lynn from Australia, and she says they are tripping over there right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, between this and the Brexit vote, you have shockwaves going through, the halls of higher power right now. And I'm not talking about our Congress. I'm not talking about the Parliament in Australia, if they have a Parliament. I'm talking about the bankers, the Rothschilds, the Wall Street people. I mean, they're taking it on the chin tonight, and the Brexit vote, and it's like this is not a this is becoming a pattern. These are not flukes. These are not people are ready for change and really serious change, and I think that's something that these people are going to be stunned by, and it'll be interesting to see how they react.
Now, I'm looking now, Wisconsin, which CNN hasn't given up yet. 79% of the vote in, and it's only 1 percentage point apart there. You know, I don't know. But now Pennsylvania is tied. Clinton has come back 10,000 votes in Pennsylvania. So now that's back to a tie. Let's see here. Let's look at the hard numbers.
Yeah, there's only 5% left to report in Pennsylvania, so that's really getting down to it.
Not only that, but it's less than 2,000 votes. Right now, no, it's 2,400 votes Donald Trump has got ahead with 92% of the vote in. Man alive. I just don't even know what to say. But
yeah, so, you know, I mean, however it ends up looking in the Electoral College, there's no question it will be a very close election in terms of the actual vote totals. I think Trump is ahead by a couple million, 3 million votes nationwide, which is really not that much. So,
and now let's take a swing around here really quick. Maine is still Clinton. New Hampshire with 77% of the vote in. It has not changed. It's still 47 to 47.9 in Trump's favor. Nevada is still solid Clinton. Let's go to it's interesting.
Like I'm looking at the Times, New York Times, and they've got Hillary up 49.3 to 44.8, but it's only leaning blue. It's not blue yet, and I'm just wondering. There's only 31% of the districts reporting. That's the issue. Okay, so 31% of the vote is recorded in Nevada. They just haven't counted enough of the vote yet.
Okay, so. I've got 72% in Nevada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay, 72% with Clinton almost at 50, Trump at 45, and I'm sorry, Arizona 63% in, Clinton at almost 46. And Trump at almost 49.5. So
yeah, about 49.5. Yeah.
So with only 63% in. Interesting. So wow. Now
Times is showing 67%, but yeah.
Okay, let's see if we got an update yet on. No, Pennsylvania still dead tie. Now it's showing. Let me look at this here. No, okay, it's still about 2,400, 2,300 separating the two. Ooh.
Mike Florio over at Pro Football Talk, which is a great website if you are into football the way I am, just posted. He says, "Why do I feel like the networks are dragging out the inevitable and or hoping for a Joe Pisarcik fumble?" So, if you remember, Joe Pisarcik was the play that created the so-called victory formation, where they handed the ball off to him with like 10 seconds left in the game, and he fumbled the ball, and the Eagles ran it back for a touchdown.
Yes, we all know about that play, but
not young people. They don't know that.
Well, not as strong as Buffalo 66. Buffalo 66 with the famous field goal, and that's all they needed.
You're not talking wide right in the 1990 Super Bowl, are you?
No, Buffalo 66, the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think of the kicker that missed it. Oh man, I would have to look it up on Google. I will do that during the break.
Next break, right?
Okay.
Well, we're having a technical problem where I can't hear the callers? Is that what's going
on? We've got a second phone system installed here, and it's just a couple of glitches with it. That's all. And when I open up the phone lines, we got all those phone calls that came in, and I couldn't do it. So I just thought I'd just put you on hold and answer their calls,
right.
because they called in. Now, let's see. Oh, back to Michigan. I want to take a look at Michigan here again. Too close to call. I mean, it's a half a percentage point, 73% in. Clinton is closing the gap, 47.1 to 47.7 with 73% of the vote in. It's unbelievable. It's too close to call.
Yeah, they all are right now. They're not. I mean, they're leaning in a certain direction, but They haven't closed out yet, so.
No, nothing changed so far for Pennsylvania, which obviously is.
I'm looking at on the New York Times. I'm looking at 96% reporting. Trump is up. They're both 48.2 to 48.2, but Trump has about a 3,000 vote lead. Wow, that's extraordinarily small.
Yeah,
wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And this is what I thought when we started the broadcast today. And you and I had talked about this also before. I thought that it would be one of the two with a runaway. That's what I thought. I really thought if one of the two of them was, the polls were going to be wrong, and somebody was just going to take off and just take this thing. I did not, in my wildest dreams, think it would come down to this. No,
that we would be here this late. I actually, really thought it would be over by now too, and I'm really surprised it's dragging out.
And that was the point, that we would sit here for the last segment of the show and talk about what. Okay, now New Hampshire. Okay, so Clinton is now up in New Hampshire, 47.5 to 47.4. She's got 18 votes ahead.
18 votes. Yeah, see, so these states are all really, really close.
I thought that we were going to spend the last segment of the show talking about our new president and how screwed we were for the next 4 years. That's what I thought we were going to do.
Yeah. In what way are we going to be screwed? Right, exactly.
Totally, right? That's where I thought we would be. And here we are. We're a minute away from this last break, and we're not any closer to deciding this thing than when we started off the show. Think about that for a second.
I think we're closer, but it sure hasn't been decided yet. That's for sure.
I see a tie, man. I see a tie.
It could very well happen.
I see a tie. Friggin' Pennsylvania. This is not what I think anybody expected. I didn't know. I honestly thought that Nevada was going to go Trump's way. I thought New Mexico was too. I'm kind of surprised about this. I thought it was just going to be a West Coast sweep for Hillary. But I also thought that she was going to take Florida, and that didn't happen. So here we are with these last states remaining, all leaning marginally towards Hillary. Trump is sitting at 254 with Nevada. I keep saying Nevada, with Arizona hanging out there with 11. And then all of these other states are leaning Hillary, except for Michigan, which is closing in. So there you go. Let's take a break. And maybe in this next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we'll have some breaking news. This is Fade to Black. It is election night. It is live, and we still do not know. My co-host for the evening, Mike Bara. Are you surprised? I am. I'm completely surprised. I really honestly thought somebody was going to walk away with this tonight, but that didn't happen. Here we go. I'll be right back.
Listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell
smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE, 888-618-WAVE, or visit mydryhome.com. mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fade or Nots? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Election night. We still don't have an answer. What is going to go on for the next 4 years? Now, check this out. Mike, New Hampshire, Trump just pulled in the lead, 15 votes. Mike. Oh, Mike taking a break. Okay, so anyway, now Fox is reporting Hillary Clinton with 215, Trump with 254. I guess that came from Nevada. RT is now reporting, thank you, Rita, for that, that Nevada has gone to Clinton, and we're sitting at 215, 254. New Hampshire is now, like I said, New Hampshire is showing 18. Now Clinton is pulled ahead in New Hampshire. Okay, by 90 votes. Okay, so Trump was up in New Hampshire, Mike, for a minute there by 15 votes. But now it's swung back to Clinton by 80.
Wow. Okay, so 80 whole votes. Wow.
Well, and now Clinton.
Gosh.
Well, now Fox is now showing Clinton at 215 instead of 209, where she has been for the last hour. She's now at 215 with Trump at 254. Okay, and there you go. So New Hampshire is at 81%. I wanted to go back to Michigan is still, it's exactly 1 percentage point apart. It's 4,000 votes with 74% of the vote in. And let's go over to...
Yeah, I'm actually on, the New York Times is reporting 79% is in, and Trump is 1 point ahead exactly, 47.9 to 46.9.
Yeah, that's where it's showing here at 70.
That's a difference of about 40,000 votes, 37,000 votes, it looks like.
37,000, right. I'm showing here, yeah, exactly, 37,000. Okay, but I'm showing 74%, and so obviously the New York Times has got a direct line to somebody here. And now finally CNN is updated 215 to 238. They will not concede this 254. So I have no idea what is going on there. Okay. Let's see. Let's take another swing around. Still unchanged in Pennsylvania. We are looking at, well, we got a little different voter count. It's about 2,600. It was 2,400 before. So Trump has pulled ahead a little bit, but they are still showing, though, of course, 48-2, 48-2. Maine is... That's looking Clinton, but they haven't given that to her yet. Huh. And New Hampshire, dead tie, man. Dead tie. Let me look here.
They also haven't said anything about the one congressional district that, where Trump could steal one electoral vote either. So we don't know about that yet.
In New Hampshire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. And, wow. Okay, but they still will not give Minnesota away with 76% of the vote in. She's got a 5-point lead, about 90,000 votes ahead in Minnesota.
The reason they're probably doing that, they're not calling that yet, is because probably a lot of the vote that's still out is in the rural areas as opposed to Minneapolis.
Right.
So.
Right. Wow. I wanted to have another conversation right now. What do you think if
why don't we just have two alternate conversations depending on who wins? I mean,
okay, let's go this route. Trump's first obstacles that he's going to have to face when he goes in, and it's my opinion that he was so vocal about immigration, Mexico, the wall, and Mexico stating last week that they had a contingency plan in place, a plan B, that if Trump was elected, that they were going to enact it immediately. And Trump said that he was going to do a 35% tax on all the imports coming in, from American companies. He's got that, and he's also got the situation with ISIS, Syria, and the Muslim population. What do you think he is going to deal with immediately out of the gate?
Well, I think the first thing he's going to do is probably go for the tax cut platform. I would think that would be the thing he could get the most Republicans on board with, and that's who he's going to have to work with, try to accomplish some things, is to get his tax plan enacted, which is basically across-the-board tax cuts, reducing the corporate tax rate so the companies and changing the laws so that the companies that have money stashed overseas can bring them back into the United States. But of course, that was actually done under Obama. Some of that was done, and the corporations took the money, they just stuck it in the bank, and they didn't spend it. So he'll probably put in try to get some laws in where they can bring the money back as long as they spend it on expansion or something like that. That'll be the first thing. But then, excuse me. After that, I think he's got to do the wall. I think he's really got to build the southern border wall, because that is a key cornerstone of what he's been talking about. And, and I mean, again, the whole thing with Mexico paying for it, it sounds silly, but the bottom line is they have a $59 billion trade imbalance with us. They're taking home $59 billion a year from us that we are supplying them. So, I mean, really, if the wall costs $2 or $4 billion, whatever it's forecast to cost, I mean, it's just logical, right? Wouldn't it make sense to say, okay, we'll, as long as you don't cut that money off, we'll help you build the wall. And I think that that's something that's actually doable. So I expect him to meet with the president of Mexico right away after the election, probably invite him to the White House and have a little chat. And that'll be probably the first two things that he does.
Do you think that Mexico is going to have a knee-jerk reaction out of the gate? And we do have to remember that, they are, are a country that not only touches our border, but we are so closely tied economically for a myriad of different reasons, right? And that relationship has been there for a long time. And Mexico is going to, if they live up to what they said about this Plan B, that according to them, tomorrow, if Trump is in, he's got a problem. And I think that is one of the most immediate things he has to face. Also, his entire platform from the very first day was that he was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. So what is that going to do if he has to capitulate or back off of that to the people that voted him into office on that platform?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to back off. I don't think he can. And, I mean, that I don't know what plan B is. I don't know what the plan B plan is, but, I expect that he will not back off of it. And I think he's got the leverage because they need that $60 billion a year, a lot more, than they need it badly. And so I think he's got the leverage, and I think he'll negotiate very, very hard with them. And there'll probably be some sort of compromise position. But I mean, the bottom line is, look, he can stop all wire transfers to Mexico. He can, the first day in office, he can make an executive order. He can cut off the access across the border where you can't walk the cash through the border anymore either. So, I mean, he can do those things, and that would be really bad for the Mexican economy. So I don't think a Mexican president is really going to do anything to challenge that. Because it would be self-defeating, and it would probably put him in political trouble. So I suspect that really won't happen. And besides, Trump's not president tomorrow. He doesn't take office for another couple months. So that would be Barack Obama's problem to deal with.
Now, let's talk reality. And the reality is this. Every president that gets elected, and they're fresh, and they walk into the Oval Office, and they sit down at the desk, and straighten out the desk and kind of look around and take a deep breath and go, wow, I made it. We all see them walk into the White House that day, right? And then they walk out 2 hours later and they look like they just saw a ghost. That's because that phone is going to ring. And Trump is going to pick up the phone and he's going to find out who the real boss is, right? And they're going to, and it's not going to be the kind of party that he's anticipating. What do you think his reaction is to that phone call?
I suspect Donald Trump is not dumb enough to think that he's really the president of the United States. I mean, I'm sure he knows all about the purse strings the Treasury has, and it'll be really interesting to watch what he does in terms of, does he print Treasury bills? Does he print money out of the Treasury instead of the Federal Reserve? Reagan made a couple of moves along these lines. He wanted to make gold legal tender again, and of course they shot him right away. So I suspect that he's not that naive that he thinks that he's completely in charge. So he knows he's going to have to deal with these people. But I also think that there's a lot of support behind him to, as he puts it, drain the swamp. And I think that's not that's not going to happen. I think he's very sharp in terms of politically astute. I think he's been dealing with these people for the last 30 years as he's built his company. So I don't know, Jimmy. I just don't think that's really going to happen. Now, if he does back off of his major campaign promises, of course he won't last. He'll only last 4 years. But I can't see him doing that because I really do sincerely think this is a guy who got into this to do the things he's talked about doing.
TASS is now
maybe I'm naive.
TASS is now reporting New Hampshire is going to go to Trump. Arizona, 68% reporting Trump, 49% with 810,635 votes. Clinton, 46% with 747,857. So I don't think that's enough room there for her to make up that space. Very interesting. Okay, let me check.
Well, okay. Now the way I see the electoral map shaping up, and I just read a report that I think it's the 2nd congressional district in Maine will go to Trump, so he will get that one electoral vote. If that actually does happen, and then New Hampshire goes, I have Trump at 274 at that point, with Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada still outstanding. Nevada, sorry, folks, in Nevada, still outstanding. So that puts him over the top from what, based on the states that I'm pretty sure everybody's going to win.
Let's see, Michigan right now. Wow, it's unchanged. 75% in, 46.9 to 47.9, 1 percentage point away. And let's see, Pennsylvania, 94% in, still about a half a percentage point apart. Actually, it's 0.6. Depends on how you want to do the math there. And I do agree with you. Well, look, if Right now, Trump's sitting at 254, and he's going to take Arizona. There's no doubt about that. That does put him at 265, 266 with the percentage point out of New Hampshire. If he takes New Hampshire, that puts him right at 270 exactly. And then, so if everything, it's Michigan is still hanging out there though.
Yeah.
So that puts him at 270. That's it. That would end everything. But we're not any closer to resolving this with 14 minutes left in the show.
No, I thought we'd be done by now. I thought we would definitely be done at this point, but we're not done. So the American people are still, exercising their constitutional right to vote. And it's a pretty extraordinary night. I mean, the only weirder night I've ever seen, I think, had to be 2000, which was just the weirdest. I mean, I just remember sitting there watching Wayne Newton hanging out at George W. Bush's party and Florida going back and forth, and then Florida, and then not Florida, but Al Gore calls up Bush and rescinds his concession. That was just wow, what a night that was.
Yeah. Talk about conspiracies. I'm still questioning that whole thing, how it played out. But
well, Jimmy, what was amazing about that, and considering how tight Florida was tonight. What was amazing about that is that there was a consortium of newspaper press that went back, again, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They went back and they recounted all the votes, and they used all the different methods that Gore had requested. And remember, that's why the Supreme Court basically put a stop to the recounts, because they said that you counted them 4 different ways, and they're just that's not okay to keep counting different methods. They went back and Bush won them all by very, very slight margins. But one of them, Bush, believe it or not, won on one of the recount methods by 1 vote. So if Gore had picked that method and stuck with it, which I think was his initial method, it would have come down to 1 vote. And there's no guarantee that the way the newspapers counted the votes is the way that the actual vote counters would have counted the vote. So it could have been that Gore could have flipped it if he had stuck with that one method. So that, that, it doesn't get any weirder than that.
Okay. Trump, 48.5. Yeah, Pennsylvania is still 48.5. Trump, 47.9. Clinton with 97% in, or 95% in. Too close to call, man. Oh, man, alive. Okay, New Hampshire, again, tightening back up. It's just 0.1% of, let me see here, 279, 769, 284.05. So you do the math, 800 votes apart in New Hampshire with 81% of the vote in.
That is, I'm seeing 83% on the Times site, and it's 280,405 votes for Trump, 279,769.
Right, that's what I have
Hillary.
here.
So it's 47.5 to 47.4. Wow.
Unbelievable. And let's see if I've got any changes here in Michigan. And Michigan is still 1.1% apart, about, I'm looking, 42,000 votes, and 70. Let's see here. What do I have? 75% reporting. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe we don't start talking about Trump's first 100 days in office.
Well, no, I don't think we can, because these things are not decided yet. I mean, they're still very, very close. But I mean, I think it's leaning that way, but that doesn't mean that's the way it's going to come out. So we just have to wait and see what happens.
Man, it's just unbelievable. Now, I
picked a good night to be on the show. It's been a while,
Well, yeah, right,
I picked
right.
a good night to come on.
Well, okay. Now let me ask you this, Mike, and tell me the truth. Don't BS me at all. Did you actually think? I know that you're a Trump supporter. That's not the point. Mm-hmm. Did you actually think that we would be having this conversation right now? That it would be this close, and that he is just a hair away from the Oval Office? Seriously.
seriously, I thought if there were no shenanigans, Trump was going to win at least 300 electoral votes. Yeah.
Really?
I did. Yep. But I was afraid to say that because I didn't know what would go on with the shenanigans, if there would be any. And thankfully, it seems like there isn't any, because neither side is, complaining about anything. So hopefully that means that it was a clean election, which would shock me. But
yeah, wouldn't that?
I kind of figured that. Now, again, if Trump wins Pennsylvania and Michigan, then he will have a total about like that. But I mean, I thought it would be over fairly quickly in terms of that, because I just couldn't see anybody with as much baggage as Hillary has winning, and we shall see. It's not over yet, so we shall see.
Well, I think we can safely, I don't know why they haven't given Trump the projection on Arizona and putting him at 265, and then looking at, I mean, that's right there. That puts him at 265, and just opens up Michigan, where he's holding on to a very slim 1.1 percentage point. But he is leading in Pennsylvania, still by a 0.5 percentage point. And let's see here, New Hampshire, again, 1/10 of a point, and Maine is Clinton. And I don't know. I don't know why they haven't projected Arizona. What surprise that they are expecting there? Rural areas, or do you know what is outstanding? Is it what? Phoenix hasn't gotten all of their votes in, or Tucson?
Let's take a look. Let me go click on Arizona, and it looks like Phoenix has reported in. The Maricopa County has got about 600 out of 724 precincts reporting, so there's still some unreported stuff there. And then the rest of it, the upstate stuff, looks like it's Mojave County has not reported yet very much. Only 14 of 24 precincts are reporting there. So that's part of the problem. Yuma County, Tucson. Okay, so here, this is interesting in Arizona. This is probably why they haven't called it. Is it in the area around Tucson, which is Pima County? Only 77 out of 248 precincts have reported, and those tend to be Hillary precincts. That's a Hillary area. So she's leading 55. So that's probably what's holding him up on Arizona, is the results coming in there. So we may still have a controversy. You never know. We may still end up with a controversy.
Do you think, okay, if you're looking at the map the way that you are right now, are you saying that there's a possibility that Hillary could pull out Arizona?
Well, I mean, right now, if you look at the overall vote, she is 4 points.
Yeah, 767, 377, 827. So exactly 60,000 votes, down.
Yeah, I've got 49.5 to about 45. So she's about 3.8, 4 points behind. Sorry. And, it's possible, Jimmy. It just depends. And it doesn't seem likely, but, it's possible. I've had Arizona in Trump's camp for quite some time, and I'm assuming that when I go through the electoral map myself. I'm assuming that he wins Arizona.
And what's going on in Pennsylvania?
Okay, let's double check Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now too as well. Pennsylvania.
48.6 favoring Trump. 47.8 for Hillary. So about a
0.5 percentage point.
Yeah, about 0.5%. Well, yeah, a little more than that. About 8.8%, almost 1%.
And what is outstanding? There's 5% still outstanding. What's outstanding in Pennsylvania?
Well, let's look at the blue counties. Those are all reported in. Philadelphia. There are missing precincts in the Philadelphia area, kind of what I was talking about earlier. But we'll see if they can make up 60,000 votes or not. Looks like Philadelphia is part of what's not reporting.
Philadelphia is not reporting.
Yeah. Well, no, Philadelphia. I'm sorry. Philadelphia, 1,655 out of 1,686 precincts have reported. So there's some other areas around suburban Philly that haven't reported yet, and Pittsburgh is close to being done. So I don't know.
Yeah, the latest update from CNN is 76% in on Michigan. Now, let me see here. Okay. Ooh, it's tightening. Okay, I've got in Michigan, 77% are in. This is just recently updated. Clinton, 46.7. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's about the same, 48.1 for Trump.
Yeah, okay. So I have 47.9 for Trump and 47.1 for Clinton in Michigan.
Okay, and how many percentage points? I've got 77.
80% of the vote has been counted there.
Really?
That's what they're saying on New York Times. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna actually switch to. Okay, let's go back to Michigan. What's the percentage point separating them?
It is 47.9 to 47.1, so 0.8%.
Well, yeah. So Fox is way behind. They're showing 70. Okay, so let me see here. Let me go to New York Times and Michigan. Oh, I see. Okay. I see here. Much better map set up here. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, interesting. Okay, 20. That's why Michigan is still up in the air. Okay, I get it. You look at Detroit. They still need 150 precincts to report. In Washtenaw County is 21 of 143 precincts are reporting there. Okay, so they're still way out. They've only I get this. Okay, where Flint is, they've still got another 60, 70 precincts yet to report.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why they're hanging out.
So Trump is okay, so there's a site that I follow called Decision Desk Headquarters, or HQ, that does their own analysis of results, and they are projecting that Trump wins Arizona. In Pennsylvania, with 98% in, it looks like Trump's ahead by 45,000, which is actually, he extended his lead. So it looks like he's leading. Jimmy, it's really amazing in these very populous states how close this is. I mean, Trump may win. Trump is it's not going to be a divided country, but it's a very close election. It's kind of like, I think Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford in 1976, where the American people were really kind of two minds. I think the difference there is that they liked them both, but in this election, everybody kind of hates them both. So, yeah,
you're right. You're right about Pima County. 77 of 248 precincts reporting.
Yeah. So now we don't know how populous those are, so we shall see.
Yeah, we don't. But Hillary is walking away with Pima County.
Yeah, that's Democrat territory. It's suburban Philadelphia.
And let's see here, Pennsylvania. Let's see what. Still the same thing here too as well. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what to do here. We're at a break, and I don't want to quite wrap this up yet, but I'm not sure if this is going to wrap up tonight. We may have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't think it's going to wrap up for another 3-4 hours at least, to be honest with you.
I want to thank you for coming in tonight, Mike, co-hosting the show on this historic night, and I don't know what the result is. It looks like it's leaning Trump. I get it. I see it. I feel it.
A little bit.
Thank you so much, man. And I'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll get you on the show tomorrow night. We'll have Jim Mars on.
Oh, great.
All right? Hey, Mike, thank you
Love
so
you.
much. You're the best.
Anytime, man.
Talk to you. Mike Bara, everybody. This is Fade to Black. We didn't get any closer. Well, we think we are. Thank you, everybody. Great night on the show. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show's produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar. Oh, Rita says go overtime. Should I go overtime? All right, let me take a break. When I come back, I'll open up the phone lines. Stay right there. Don't trip. Don't trip. Rita says overtime, and she says she's going to feed me tonight. So we're going overtime. I haven't even jumped into the chat rooms tonight. Let's see what's going on over here in Spreaker. All right, I'm doing overtime. Yes, everybody. Yes, I'm doing overtime. I'm opening up the phone lines right now. 323-825-5045. Who wants to co-host? Man, I am toast. Thanks, Mike Bara. You are a true champion to do 3 straight hours on this show with me tonight. I also want to thank Andrew Basiago and his insight. Very bright man. Okay, that's it. You guys want overtime? I will do overtime. And I don't know what's going on over at KGRA, but Race, if you are listening, let's do some overtime tonight. All right, I'm going straight to the phones. Here we go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, my name's Dusty, man. I want to say I'm a huge fan, bro. Been listening for a long time. And I'm also an audio engineer, dude. And I've never called in before, but I always listen to you when I'm at the gym every single day. I want to say thank you for what you do. Man, I'm super, super blown away that Trump is actually winning.
And why are you so? And I'm listening to your accent. Where are you from?
I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
But I grew up in Orange County. I moved there when I was 16. I joined a band, started touring, and been recording music ever since, man.
Okay. You hang out. You said you're in Nashville?
I don't live there anymore. I live in Denver, Colorado now.
Oh, you're in Denver now. Oh, okay. Okay. I was going to bring up the Bluebird Cafe, but, what?
No, dude, I love the Bluebird.
Yeah,
man.
Bluebird rocks. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So why, and thank you, first-time caller and everything. Thank you for that.
Sure.
Why are you so surprised? Is it because of the media? You were listening to the media? Is it because of your gut feeling? Why are you surprised?
Here's why. So I know, or here's what I feel like the elites that are controlling this world wanted Hillary to continue that agenda. So I figured, especially considering some of the guests that I've heard on your show, some of the things that I've read up in the past, et cetera, that they wouldn't allow Trump to win, man. He's asking the questions that matter. Where's the $600 trillion, going, these black budget projects, stuff like that, like the foreign policy. He's asking these questions that people like us, or myself, some of the people who I'm assuming listen to your show, want to hear. Things that can get him into some serious trouble, if you ask me. So it just seems like they wouldn't allow him to win. I thought at first that he was all controversy because controversy sells.
Right.
Just like in the music business, entertainment industry. It's good entertainment to me. But I respect Trump for saying the things he's saying and asking the questions he's asking. And just like Jim Mars said, man, I heard this on one of your shows too, super respectable guy. Maybe that's what we need, someone who isn't a politician. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's, the lesser of the two evils, I go for Trump, but I'm just so blown away. If he wins, that's great, man, because I personally think that Hillary's done some crazy stuff, invading Libya, being all these people coming up missing around her, people going to testify. It just seems like she's evil. And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say this.
Right.
They really just think I'm a nutcase. And I'm like, hell, maybe I am. I don't know at this point, dude.
Yeah, I hear you. This is the difference between these two candidates, though, no doubt. Hillary being a lifetime politician. And, when you look at, like, the state of Arkansas that has been dealing with and knows, the Clintons really, really well. They know what they're all about. And she's a career politician. She's been in the game for a long time, and she knows how it's played. I want to make something really clear here. The rest of us, one of the things, and I'm referring to Trump when I say the rest of us, the non-politician types, is that what we assume, and this I'm including Trump, what we assume is when you are elected into office, whether it's mayor of a city or it's Congress, House of Representatives, the Senate, or into the White House. When you are elected, you think that you can go in and initiate change and make change and go and do the policy has been in place underneath the government in place for a long time. And I'm talking about the agenda of the CIA, the agenda of the Fed, the agenda of the IRS, the agenda of the FBI. There are things that they will still have their jobs after you leave office, whether it's in 4 years or 8 years. And their agendas continue, right? Do you follow what I'm saying? Hillary,
For sure.
Yeah, Hillary gets that game, right? Now, but Trump, when you go in, you're going to find out that there are obstacles, and maybe he's prepared for this, maybe he's not. But you don't go in and just do whatever you want, right? And all of this sounds great. And so now, but the one thing that is for sure, this country, if he makes it into office, and it looks like he's going to get there, that you need to be prepared to fight Congress, to fight the House, to fight the NSA, to fight the military, to fight the Pentagon, because all of this other stuff is in your way, right? Do you understand? Right. And that's
totally.
He's going to have to get acclimated to that and find out what it's like to be a politician, because to get your way, something's got to give. And that's the art of the deal, which is the title of one of his books, right? So he's got to go in and do just that. Now, look, the election's not over. We're acting like he's been elected, but it looks like things are definitely going to go his way. I'm surprised.
Yeah, it looks like it is. I mean, I'm not. The only way I'm keeping up on it, honestly, I was driving and I was listening to your show because I left to where I was to watch it on TV. And to be honest with you, I don't even really want to watch it on TV. Who knows what I'm being fed, on like CNN and whatever. I hate listening to the news. I hate Wolf Blitzer. I don't want to hear this stuff. So
right.
When I was driving, I just plugged you in and started listening to you and Mike Bara. And that's kind of how I was getting my update. But the last time I heard, he was like, what, like 255?
Well, it depends on what you're looking at. Fox has got him at 254. New York Times has him at 244. I'm looking for CNN's updates. It's not showing right now. So, but that's where it's at. And see, the thing is, and I want to thank you, Dusty, for the phone call and being a first time caller is very, very cool. The one thing that I want all of us to do, I mean, I thought it was going to be a landslide in either direction. That's what I thought. I thought we were going to be shocked with Trump running away with this. We would be shocked with Hillary running away with this. I did not think it would be this close. And here we are. you have to think about this. It's 1 o'clock on the East Coast, right? It's 10 o'clock here on the West Coast, and we're not any closer to this. I mean, I think we got a feeling for it, but I didn't think it would be this close. I'm just absolutely shocked. So, Dusty, thank you.
Neither did I, man.
Thank you for the phone call, man, and don't be a stranger. Hey, what do you play?
Yeah, I'm going to start calling in, man.
What do you play?
I play guitar and drums. I played in a band. I played drums for about 7 years. Went to like 40 countries, and then gave it up. Well, me and my band actually broke up. We split, and then I moved to Denver with my fiance, and I own a studio out here now. I record full time. I was also going to tell you, man, props on partnering with a Tascam, man. I could hear the improvement. You're not, there that hiss that you're kind of getting on the 7B. Sounds like you're using the 7B. It's gone. It's perfect, man.
Thank you so much, Dusty. You've got good ears. Okay, don't stop what you're doing. Thank you, man.
Have a good night, bro.
I'll talk to you. You got it. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy, Casper Parks.
Hey, Casper, how are you?
It's a weird night. I'm going off topic, but it's okay. This evening, I'm sitting down. Every evening I go to my mom's and check her blood sugar, get her insulin shot, and get her dinner, and do all the chores you dodged when I was a kid. And her cat, 16 years old, been really, really kind of like getting sick. And anyway, I come back home, and Tammy, fate or not, posts a picture of a little kitten that looks too young to be away from his mama. And she goes, "Help me name the cat." And I thought, I didn't know. And literally after I sent that message, my mom called, and the cat was on my mom's lap dying. Her cat was. So I rushed over there, and the cat died in my arms and her hands. And,
dude.
And Tammy went ahead and named the new kitty Sweetie Pie after my mom's cat. I mean, that is so weird that she posted that picture at the same time my mom's cat was passing away.
Wow.
At 16 years of age.
Wow.
I mean, that's just so, I know it's off topic, Jimmy, but it was just something, I got my mom over at the house where I'm at now for the night, but it was so weird. And my mom's health wasn't the best, and she had 5 kids, and we're always kind of debating who was going to pass away first, her or the cat. And, thank God she's still around yet, but it was just one of those really weird evenings, Tammy literally posted that picture. I posted a reply, "Cute kitty, I don't know how to help you with a name." Literally do that, and then my phone rings, and my mom's crying because the cat's like dying in her hands, and her lap, and I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Wow.
So I run over there, but Tammy, thank you very much for naming that new kitty Sweetie Pie. That meant a lot to my mother and everything. So. But it was just off topic, I know, but I think...
No, it's not off topic. No, man, we're a family here, man. That's not off topic at all. You're just updating me on the family. That's all that is, man.
Yeah, it's just so weird that she posted that picture, and then that happened, like, immediately afterwards. I mean, like, immediately.
Well, you better have Tammy put that cat in the mail.
Yeah.
Take her over to your mom.
Tomorrow's going to be a long day. I've got to get my mom to one of my sisters. I'm going to go clean all the cat stuff out of the house, and then take the cat to the vet to have it brought to the pet cemetery.
Yeah.
And everything. But she's 81. We're telling her no more pets, but we'll see how that.
No,
works
you can't
out,
do that. No, that. Please.
But,
I've got a crystal ball here. There's a pet in your mom's future.
Yeah, it's very possible.
Yeah, you can't do no more pets, man. You can't do that.
All right, well, listen, I just wanted to call in with that and everything, and I figured out to thank everyone for all your support and everything in the speaker chat and Twitter tonight. So, you have a good evening, Jimmy.
Yeah, you too, Casper, and all the best. Tell your mom I said yo.
Okay, I'll do that. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Casper. Wow, what a great gesture. That's what I'm talking about. Fade or nots, man. Fade or nots forever. Ah, man. Yeah, your mom's got a new pet in her future in the next couple of days. All right, let's see here. What's up, Dino?
Hey, none of us know that's what's up. None of us know. We have personal things like Casper just had. We're trying to lead our lives, and I don't think whoever wins here. I keep saying they're not going to be more than one term unless whoever wins changes their tune, because there are too many people divided in this country on these political lines, and whoever is in is going to have to start making not just rhetoric about change, but make something happen to make whatever is left of the middle class better off, because that's what the discomfort is. That's why people voted. I'd have to agree that when you went into the personality of either of these people, their numbers went down. 1 week it was on, Trump did this. Oh, we hate him now. Then, Hillary did this. So that's not any way to pick a leader of a country who's supposed to be working for us. And I think that there will be implications irregardless of who wins tomorrow. And, and again, one term, and we're going to have to work on changing what needs to be changes, and then maybe just leaving alone what's working.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and I think all of us need to do this, is no matter what, we just support whoever makes it into the Oval Office, and we ride this sucker out. And we don't have another choice. And the divide that has happened in the country, everybody's upset. Everybody's upset at each other. The angst that is going on inside of families and friends and friendships and your coworkers and everything that has happened, we have to, now realize that this is all behind us now. And I thought, I've said this a few times now, I thought that we would be on the other side of this this fence by now, and we would know what is up with the country. And we clearly do not.
And, this also, what you're talking about now, puts our faith to the test, the faith about what your program's been around the last couple of years, which is a lot of us that come here believe there's got to be something more, something else going on, whether it's extraterrestrial, whether it's a cabal of some kind, whether it's a breakaway government. If we really have faith in this, then there is more going on than just this election. And, whether it's James K. or James C. that I talk with on chat, or Jean Vetteau, or, Fran, or Catalina, or Dusky, or these people that I've made friends with through the years, most of whom I have not met in person, a couple of them I have. And we get along so well, we can make jokes, we can do stuff that you probably couldn't say to family members. And then these damn politics come up, and we find out, you're different from me, and you feel different this, and I don't agree with this. And, it's a separation thing. You've talked about it before. I mean, I am so sick of the politics, because what draws us together here is that most of us are trying to look beyond the veil, outside the box. And we want to get along. And, I can understand how, someone, in a different part of the country who had a different upbringing than me is going to have different opinions on different issues. But when it comes down to it, it's the heart, it's what's in your heart. And God forbid any alien tries to abduct me, because I've got a heart. I'm not going to let anybody change what I've learned through many years of experience, both failures and successes that I've had. And that's what I want to keep going here. And I just hope that it doesn't tear apart the Fade or Not family.
No, it's not at all. And look, no matter what, it's going to be a crazy 4 years, Dino. There's no doubt about it, because we are asking for this change. And if Trump makes it in, and it looks like he is, then America has spoken. And now, how far can that go? Who actually, the shadow government, and who is running in the background? How much control rains down on him? We see this every single election cycle, Dino. Let me make something perfectly clear here. Every time somebody makes it into office and it's not the candidate that you want, life is going to end. Oh, my God, it's going to be over. And then we find out. And maybe it's the candidate that you want. right? And suddenly taxes are going to be cut in half. You're going to have 6 months of paid vacation a year. You are going to be sent gold bars in the mail. All of these promises are made, right? And and nothing happens. No changes happen. We just move along into the same cycle: recession, inflation, stock market crash, housing bubble. Everybody, jobs are created. We go through cycles, and we're on that treadmill. And we don't see anything radically changing in front of us because it takes decades for these things to implement and to take place. And that goes with anything. Who would have ever thought that we would be sitting on a $20 trillion debt? That takes a long time to happen, right?
Yeah,
and all
exactly.
of these things are affected by things that happened in the 60s and in the 70s and in the 80s. It's all cumulative stuff. It's not because of any one president's mistakes or not. And that goes with any party that goes into office. So tomorrow, next year, January, right? Does the United States grind to a halt? No. Does the United States erase its debt and everything is fixed? No. It's not going. It just doesn't work that way. Is it going to seem like it's this crazy difference overnight? No. Now what's going to happen on the world stage and across this country with Trump in office, if he does make it in? It's that's all open. I think it's going to be a crazy 4 years. He's got to go and try to deliver those things that he has promised. So we are going to have the media talking about the fights that he is having with international relations and with Congress and with this and with his tax cut. We're going to listen to all of that rhetoric. Okay, and that's what I'm talking about when I say it's going to be a crazy 4 years. But is everybody going to lose their jobs next year? No. Is everybody going to get hired next year? No. Is every illegal immigrant in the United States going to get shipped out of the country? No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work that way. And there's one thing that I want to make that I've never talked about on the air.
Well, hold that thought for a minute. I just want to continue your thread for a minute.
Hold on for a second.
Thread is,
no, Dino, this is my show, Dino.
Okay,
don't
tell all the issues that are...
Okay, you do not tell me to hold on. Okay, don't ever come on my show and tell me to hold on. All right? It's that simple. Okay? There you go. Done. Do not come on my show and tell me to hold on. Okay? All right, now I'm going to get back to my point. When you talk about 15 million, 18 million illegal immigrants in the country, and you're going to ship them out, and you're going to put them on planes, trains, automobiles, and get them outside of the country, there wouldn't be any flights for years. For years. Nobody would be able to buy a plane ticket and fly out and go to Hawaii because every plane and everything would be tied up in shipping out. It's a ludicrous thought, so it's not going to happen. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, my brother, how you doing? It's Bob.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Long time no chat.
Everything good?
Oh, going great.
How are you?
Now
feeling?
I'm settled down after Ohio was flittering towards Hillary there for a while.
How are you feeling tonight?
Oh, feeling pretty good. And yeah, it's just my main thing with her was Ohio's one of them states that got hit hard with NAFTA after Bill came in. And I just had a lot of issues with the Clintons when they were first in.
Right. Well, what do you think? With Trump saying NAFTA is the worst deal that was ever done, is first thing into office, he's going to tear it up.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. Well, mainly need to reevaluate everything. I mean, they need to do something because the thing I liked what he was talking about was starting, because one of the towns close to me, we used to build RCA TVs, and that disappeared after NAFTA.
Right.
And again, and then that was one of the few companies, like now, you can't buy a TV that's made in America.
No, we don't have any TVs made in America.
Nothing. No technology that I know of, really. Very little, I should say.
Well, the one thing that I would love for Trump to deliver on is just quite simply, if you really, really are concerned about manufacturing in America and everything that has been moved overseas, actually do something about it. I've been outspoken about that for a long time.
Oh, so have I.
Yeah.
So have I, Jimmy. Yeah, that's one of my biggest things. I mean, that's what's hurt this country. It's just been crazy.
Right. Well, see, the thing is, when I remember, and I'm sure you do too, but I remember when you bought a shirt and the shirt said "Made in the USA" on it, right? And we were just so, it was always, made in the. There is nothing made in the USA anymore. I mean, I don't know.
Very little, and I can't afford them. Anything that's made in the USA, I hate to say, I can't afford it. I'm on a fixed income. I would love to buy nothing but USA-made stuff. But because of the way it's set up now, the person that's making below, well, right now we're 150% below poverty level. We can't afford American-made stuff.
Right. And it when it comes to cars, and when it comes to televisions and cell phones and clothes, Levi's aren't made here anymore.
I know. I know. That's crazy.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. And when we had Rushkoff on the show last week, and he brought up the one point that I've been trying to drive home with everybody just to understand this. When the basic form of economics, which goes back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, was a very simple thing. You made something and then you sold it, and therefore you were creating something, right?
Exactly.
You were creating something.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Well, creating something and selling it. Well, we are now in a form of economics today where we are not selling, we're not manufacturing anything. There's nothing, it's based on nothing, and the growth is based on nothing. To resell stocks and make money off of stocks or software, or, just these intangible things. All the tangible things we import, and that money is given to another country. Right? The whole trick into becoming a successful company is that you are exporting products and selling them to somebody else.
Right. I worked for a company at one time made drainage pipe, and it was getting to the point Japanese was coming over here, and they were going to bring in their own plastic company to make their product where they could undersell us, because we couldn't make it as cheap as they could.
Right. And it never made sense to me when the decisions like by Ford to turn around and take the jobs out of America and move them to Mexico or wherever, it doesn't matter, and to then bring those products back into the country and sell those to the people whose jobs you just caused to disappear, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How does that sustain itself? So back to Trump. I really hope that is part of him delivering on his promises.
I think that was my main draw to him, because same thing, hope. Because right now, anybody else, there was no really hope.
Right, right. I wonder what I need to take a break here, Bob, but I wonder what Trump's take is on. I've wondered about this, about UFOs and disclosure.
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious. Myself.
Somebody's got to hit him with that.
He's pretty straight-laced. He's a pretty straight-laced guy from what I've been able to detect.
Yeah. All right. I got to take a break right here, Bob. Be safe out there.
Oh, you too, brother. You take care, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You and Rita have a good one.
We will. Trust me.
All right. Bye.
This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. All right, do a little overtime. I'll try to gather my thoughts and try to see if I got any more information on this election. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil three-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fade-or-Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Benson. You're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. Going into overtime, trying to get to the bottom of this. I'll ride this out with you guys. Latest update that I have is Fox is now giving Maine to Hillary. So Fox has got the tally at 218 to 254. That's where it sits right now. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Mark.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I think a lot of people were surprised by how well Trump's doing. But I think that something else that's equally as important right now is that it looks like we've got about 100 brand new senators
coming in. Now, that's what it looks like. So if you look at the senatorial race, each state gets 2. And then you have like Puerto Rico and has, there's also, but that's almost a 50% replacement rate. This isn't just about a presidential election. This is like regime change.
Well, Rita just texted me that RT is reporting Republicans retain control of the House.
Right, but it's not about even control. It's about how many new senators are coming in, replacing incumbents.
Right.
So the drain the swamp message might have gone, way further than I think Trump even intended it to.
Right. Well, and the tally right now is still showing, over at Fox, 218 to 254. Well, it went up. They gave him Maine. But CNN still has it 244 to 215. So
well, even if he doesn't win, that's a lot of new blood in the Senate.
What I'm trying to see here, what's going on with Pennsylvania. Hold on for a second. Okay, so Pennsylvania is at 97% and exactly 1 percentage point, 47.7 to 48.7. That remains unchanged. Michigan, 46.5 to 48.3. So Trump's pulled ahead just a little bit, and Minnesota is still heavily slanted for Hillary, and same thing in Arizona, man. It's 45.7 and 49.3 with 66% reporting there too as well. But there you go. And let's see, New Hampshire 87% in. With Clinton ahead, 47.7 to 47.2.
So it's about 500 votes separating now.
Let's see, 457 to 457, 586. What is that? 120,000? No, what am I looking at here? No, 20,000. 450. It's 4,457,000. Let me see here. Let's see, 302 and 298. What is that? Yeah, 4,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 votes.
Yeah, still pretty close. But
man, I've looked at so many numbers tonight, man. They're running together. I'm serious, man. They are just, it's a big blur. Hold on for a second. Rita just sent me something. What is this? Let's see here. What is this? What is Rita sending me here? Oh, okay. She's sending me Clinton supporters weep openly.
They are. I've seen lots of video footage of Clinton supporters weeping.
Well, you gotta think about it. They go and they set up over at the Javits Center, in Manhattan, the big convention center, which is huge. I've been there many, many, many times. And you go and you set up, and you're going in, and you're happy, and you've got the day is in front of you. You're expected to win, and you think you got this, and then you turn around and you find out that you don't got this. And think about what the mood must have been like. You went from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at.
WikiLeaks, I think, really, we're talking about an election that's so close that we're talking about 1 or 2%. And you really have to look at the role of WikiLeaks in exposing all the emails about how the DNC was basically corrupted, about her relationship even with Bernie Sanders, where she claimed, and are not her, but members of her campaign claimed that they had leverage over Bernie Sanders. And I don't even know what that means. That's, when you say you have leverage over another politician, I go to some pretty dark places.
Right. Well, what's your take on this, though? I mean, are you surprised Did you think it was going to be
I actually thought that Donald Trump would win by a larger margin, a much larger margin, and I'm actually surprised that my state didn't flip from Democrat to Republican based on everybody that I've talked to. I mean, I have two neighbors that were voting for Clinton, and those were the only two that I knew. So I'm still, and we have a mail-in election in Oregon, so it's a very different process. The votes are all in early, but we do not report them until we don't start until 8 p.m.
Yeah, I really did think that it was somebody was going to run away with this. That's I really over the last couple of days started to think about this, that how wrong the media could be on Trump, right? And that it could just be this this thing. And then I also thought that the way that the polls were showing them really close, that that they were going to be dead wrong, and it was just somebody was going to take off and run, and I wasn't going to be surprised either way. I just thought that the media was completely wrong, and then here we are with these polls that were calling this 2 points away and 4 points away this last couple of days, and Trump closing in, and this huge gap was I just thought, man, I don't know. And then here you go. It turned out to be nearly identical to what the media was trying to say about how close this was going to be, but that Florida was going to be Clinton's, and without Florida, Trump, there would be no way. And then what happened? The exact opposite, right? And this close list.
Florida was really interesting because the Clinton campaign, I think, as I recall, they spent $46 million on ads in the state of Florida, and Donald Trump campaign spent under $4 million, I believe. And that's pretty interesting too, to look at 10 times the amount of spending in millions of dollars. And to me, that just speaks out about people are wise to the corruption. And even if the media isn't openly going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and President Clinton flying to the Lolita Express to his, sex slave island, certainly people are aware of it, even if the media isn't talking about it. And that influences people when they're of a conservative mindset. And I think that the emails that came out from WikiLeaks about spirit cooking certainly had a huge impact on millions of people, because most people who are fairly conservative don't consider magic rituals using sexual body fluids and blood and putting all these things together in some kind of a dish and having a big dinner party to be normal or even acceptable behavior. And I know there's a push for Satanism in schools among some people.
Okay, let me jump in and say this. The Associated Press is now saying that Trump wins Pennsylvania. There you go. Well, if that is indeed the case, then this thing is over. Yes, yep. I just read it, Ree. I just read it. So there you go. Now let's see. Let's see how quick. Okay, breaking news. Let's see how quick the Fox and CNN are on reporting this, and maybe we can actually. Let's see. Okay, Fox isn't doing it yet. Fox is not. That would put Trump at 274. Let's see. CNN is not calling Pennsylvania yet, but AP is.
Is that because they're not calling Wisconsin or Michigan yet?
I don't know. I have everything live in front of me right now. Okay, so I'm reporting now. AP is reporting that Trump. They're projecting Trump in Pennsylvania, which ends the race right now. Wow, isn't that interesting?
That's kind of amazing, actually. But I really do think that this whole thing, it's not even about Donald Trump, and it's not about Hillary. It's about a regime change, and it's about changing our government, and it's about creating jobs. And every aspect of this has been about it. When Donald Trump says build the wall, it's about jobs. You have people coming into the United States taking jobs. When he says in these bad trade agreements so that we have manufacturers here at home, it's about jobs. And it's also about all the false reporting about unemployment numbers. We have all these people who aren't working, who want jobs, but they just quit looking because the jobs aren't there. And that's what I see impacting the election. I think it's all of that.
Okay, AP on Twitter right now. Trump wins Pennsylvania. Race call at 1:36 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 minutes ago. There you go. This is the official AP Twitter feed. And Rita, go ahead and post this out on Twitter right now. And at least get this in here, and just retweet them. We don't have to do that. We don't want to call this if it's not official yet, right? But
not yet.
Let me
These
go.
are just projections, but
Yeah.
but Fade to Black can make a projection just like anybody else.
Yeah, my projection is I'm not projecting. I'm just not going to do it, man.
Astral projecting, maybe.
I'm just not going to do it. Let's see here. 97%. This according to Fox. Trump is up by 1.3%. Exactly 78,000 votes with 97% in, and that's according to now Wall Street Journal is now calling Pennsylvania. Okay. The AP. Oh, Wall Street Journal is quoting AP. Okay. So
Mike Bara also said that there was one electoral vote that could swing from the state of Maine.
I think it's New Hampshire. New Hampshire has that district that is one vote.
I'm not sure how many states can actually swing electoral votes from the Electoral College, but I know there's more than one that can do that if a significant portion of their population votes and vote against the majority.
Yeah, or is it Maine? Is it Maine that's got it? You know what? I don't know. But I'm looking here. Clinton is taken, is really close. 4,000 votes ahead of New Hampshire with 87% in. But and nobody but AP is calling Pennsylvania. Not Fox, and you would think that Fox would be the first one to do it, right?
Well, look at all the hours they drug by while they waited to call Florida.
Yeah. Man, that was a swing state if there ever was. Man,
that was something else. I'm really, really surprised. And that's another mistake. That was just a huge mistake. I think that the pollsters made. When they're talking about Latino populations, like they're all the same. Like any more than white people are all the same.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Latinos in Florida, there's a lot of Cubans in there. There's a lot of island republic people who are Latinos, who identify as Latino.
Gene Vettel said it's Maine, 2nd District in Maine.
Right, okay.
See, I actually I pay attention to the chat rooms.
Well, I trust Gene. Gene said it is gold.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Oh, man. Well, I'm still waiting for, you have AP making, Wall Street Journal, Trump wins Pennsylvania, all but vanquishing Clinton's hopes of gaining the presidency, and that's according to the Wall Street Journal. So, let's see, and then Trump takes Pennsylvania, gets 264, the necessary 270 votes. That's according to TASS. All right, but we're not, let's I'm going to wait 10 more minutes here. I'll sign off at 11 o'clock because, I've got to close the studio down and get something to eat and get home and get ready for the show tomorrow. But
it's interesting that the marijuana measures that have come up on the state ballot, some for medical marijuana, some for legalization, and congratulations to California, because I think that that's just one of the most oppressive, divisive set of laws that we've ever had. And again, you know, I've heard another caller say this. I don't smoke. I haven't since I was in my early 20s. But to put people in jail for smoking pot is it's just so ridiculous. It's absurd, and it's just time that we stop doing things like that to our own citizens. That's crazy.
Well, what do you think Trump's going to face first?
What do I think he's going to say first?
Face first. Is it going to be Mexico? Is it going to be the wall?
He's going to go after trade deals first. The very first thing.
Well,
because in order to restore manufacturing here, that's the first thing he has to go after. He has to go after NAFTA. He has to make sure that TPP is completely renegotiated or just thrown in the garbage can.
Right.
That's the first thing. And if he does that, you know, we have a prayer, and it isn't going to happen overnight. It'll be a slow road. But Hillary wasn't offering anything like that. The one thing that worries me out of all this, Jimmy, is about Donald Trump and his health care policy, is that when we trash, if he does trash Obamacare, I know he says he wants to replace that with something else, but once you already have everybody's health information and you're aware, and I'm talking about insurance companies, of pre-existing conditions, then you have that information, and there's no way to take it back.
Right.
So that's either going to be used against people, and they'll be charged more if we go back to strictly a free market system, or he's going to have to really regulate like Nixon did when he froze prices on inflation.
Right.
Well, it's going to be fairly draconian in any way it's approached. You can't put it back in the box.
Hey, Mark, be safe, and we'll see you on the show tomorrow night. All right?
You too, Jimmy, and thanks for keeping it up late.
Yeah, thank you so much, brother.
All right, good night.
Behave. All right, well, look, a couple of things. Bloomberg Politics is now saying Donald Trump is poised to become the next president of the United States, and it's looking that way. So let me just let me sign off and say this to everybody. I think that well, first off, I want to thank everybody for hanging out for this extra hour tonight. It was an extraordinary day and evening for not only our country and the world. Before we all freak out tomorrow, not the half of the country that wants to freak out, don't freak out. All right? If we wake up tomorrow and the smoke is cleared and officially Trump is and we get a concession speech out of Hillary and that's where we're at, then that's where we're at. That's what makes this country great. It's so important that we watched all of this play out tonight. And all of this accusation of voter rigging and voter fraud and this and that and all of the rhetoric that was flying around. Look, the votes are in. And if we get the concession speech out of Hillary and nothing is contested, and then we just roll through this next couple of months and make it into January and things change hands, that's what this country is based on. That's what makes this country great. It's what makes all of you great. Some of us right now are in shock. You know what? No, I'm gonna go beyond that. I think we're all in shock. Trump supporters, Hillary, everybody. If this indeed plays out, I think we're all in shock because this is a guy that is not a politician. Not a politician. He's a businessman, and he put his hat in the ring. And when he did and stepped up on that stage and started stumbling and was carefree and no teleprompters and running off at the mouth and speaking what was exactly on his mind and was shocking a lot of people with his loose lips and his loose mind and everything else. Well, you know what? He made it. He made it this far, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. Okay? In the next 15 minutes, the next 5 minutes, the next 4 or 5 hours, nothing is going to be solid and stuff until Hillary makes a concession speech and feels comfortable in doing that. If she doesn't and this drags out, it does. But it looks like the people have spoken, and we are here. And with that, I am going to sign off. It has been one heck of a night. It is not at all what I expected. And it was a lot of fun. And thank you for allowing me to share that with you. I do want to thank Mike Bara and Andy Basiago for coming in tonight. Mike Bara for co-hosting. Rita for writing this out. All of you have just made this an exceptional show. I'm worn out. I got to go do what I got to go do. We'll see you tomorrow night. Jim Mars is going to be here. And, man, what a show that's going to be tomorrow night. Fade to Black's executive producers, Rita Kamarian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar. Thank you, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Mark D. Kovar, Jonas, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJ Sierra for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'll see everybody tomorrow night. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.